Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and welcome to episode 148 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. As always, I'm joined by Master of the Dojo himself, Lord Cognito. Cog, how are you today, my good friend?
Feeling good. Welcome to the King of Iron Fist tournament. Tekken 8. I love that new announcement. Oh, she drives me crazy. I love her.
Can't come soon enough. I've refused to play the beta or anything because I know I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to love it. It looks incredible.
So good.
From what I've seen.
So good. I have a lot to say about Tekken this episode, clearly. But
Yes,
yeah, man, I want to, again, good to be back in the realm of the Dukes. And got to shout out the royal wedding right quick.
Yeah.
Man.
How was that?
It was amazing. It was really, like, it couldn't have been on a more beautiful day. You know, shout out to Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, because, brother, like, the way, you know how here in New York, New Jersey, we like 50, 60 degrees. Mm-hmm. You know, you got your flannel. It's hoodie season, right? Bro, I get off the plane. It's like 80 degrees. Ooh. Then I wanted the corporate cognitive situation. So I came with the three-piece. You know what I'm saying? The vest. I came through. Your boy came. Right. I was there.
There's never a doubt.
Appreciate you. But the weather wasn't to my cooperation with the drip. So I'm sitting there like, yo, if we don't get indoors fast, I ain't gonna make it. Because the first part was outdoors. But yo, everybody pulled up, man. Shout out to Hogue. Shout out to Gene Park, meeting him for the first time. You know what I'm saying? Obviously LSM fam, Dustin, Ben, you know what I mean? Obviously you were missed. You and Chris were missed. You know what I'm saying? I shout out to Chris. I'd already had something going on with him as well. But it was so dope. And then obviously, you know what I'm saying, the World Cup will come through. You know, you got Colin, you got Micah. And it was really sweet. Like they, you know, the things they said to each other was so dope. And us as the LSM fam knowing the origin story, so to speak, because I told him, I put him to the side, like, bro, like that was, you know what I'm saying? Like the way this hottest came through is like a magical thing. But it was dope, man. Had a lot of fun. Saw us a lot of cool faces. Oh, shout out to Betty Ann. So she always on my Twitter. Finally put the name to the face. And it was just really cool. Everybody showed love, had a great time, drank a lot and danced a lot. But that was me. So a lot of traveling, not a lot of gameplay, mostly mobile and going around. But we'll discuss. But how you been? How you been feeling? What's been going on with you?
Been doing all right. I definitely was upset I couldn't make the wedding. For those who don't know, it's still the balance-related issues here. We're getting better, though. Still doing physical therapy. I think it's a combination of a lot of things because, like, I noticed I changed my diet a little bit. I'm starting to, you know, now I've been feeling better, trying to see what foods work. And I already knew chocolate has been a no-go. Like, I tried chocolate when I was on vacation a couple of weeks ago, and that just didn't hit. Like, immediately got the spins, and I was like, okay. This pains me because I got to give up, like, 3 Musketeers. I got to give up my Oreos. Like, I got to give up some of those guilty pleasures. But, you know, if I can get some stability in my life, then it's worth it. So I've been just testing out foods, and I think a lot of tomato fucks me up too. That was something else they said keep out of your diet, and so I had a lot of tomato. Like we made like a stew, Laylee and I, and like it had like a strong tomato base. And yeah, I was on skates again, so I was like, okay, all right, so that's not gonna work. It was, you know, I think it's a little bit is fine. You know, I've had pizza, and that was fine, so that's not too much. But when you really pour it into like a soup, and there's a lot there, citrusy foods get me. So I'm figuring things out on that front. Otherwise, doing pretty good today. As we record today, the 1st of November, this is the day I got engaged to Laylee last year. It also is the 1-year anniversary when I started to get the balance issues. Because then we went and celebrated up in the Skyline Tower, and I came back down. I was like, oh, wow. This doesn't feel great. But yeah, we celebrated today. Her favorite food is dumplings. So I spent my afternoon making that. It's a good time. I did pretty well, I thought. You know, I bought some. I'm not proud of this move here, but I did have to buy like Target wonton wrappers and make do with what I had there. Like I have a whole dumpling making kit, like these metal pinchers that kind of fold and crease the edges, but didn't have the dough ready to go. So I went with the wonton wrappers and used a steamer and came out pretty good. You know, we used a little bit of turkey, ground turkey. I put some chopped up carrots, some chopped up celery because I didn't have green onions. As you can see, I was super prepared for this.
Yes, you
and
were.
some garlic, mixed it all together, steamed them about 30 or so. Came out really good. I was really happy with it. And most importantly, she enjoyed it. So, you know, for the record, I was telling Cog about this before the show. That it was like because Cog was like, well, what's the plans for tonight? And I was like, well, there's not many plans for tonight. You know, I'm doing DD. She wants to watch her show. She's got a knitting class and all this fun stuff. So we're just not doing much because like the rule is like we can't over celebrate this one. That's what I've been told. Like we can't because I've committed, but Ben, you know, like we haven't gone all the way with it. I haven't gone to the ceremony, haven't done the wedding, none of that yet. So we can't overpraise this move on me yet, right? In her eyes, it may be a temp commitment. So we can't go too crazy today. So we made dumplings, and that was it.
She's like, you gotta relax. You gotta relax. Yeah. This is
they leave hitting the brakes on
commitment. I love it.
But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. Each and every week, we gather to talk about everything gaming, but we focus on Xbox. If you want to get early ad-free access and throw your write-ins into the show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia, where Colin just posted October was our best ever month in company history. And very excited about that because there's much more on the way. So keep your eyes peeled if you're a patron. But otherwise, if you don't want to join up, you want to listen for free, we encourage that. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, listen to us on the go, or you can find us on YouTube. We're there on free feed Sunday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you there. If you are a patron, you get access to Defining Duke Ultimate, where we just did a bonus episode for the wedding because Colin was away, so we had to cover Sacred Symbols Plus. We did a Lies of P spoiler cast review discussion, which I thought was awesome. It's me, Gene, and Dustin.
Nice.
That's out now, and most of the conversation is non-spoilers, so you can get in on that and see why we're all raving about it without spoiling yourself. We're going to be talking more about Lies of P in this episode because there's news in the world of Pinocchio, so we'll be talking about that. But that's available for you. And we also have part 1 of our Starfield spoiler cast review discussion, just focusing on the main story up as well. That's episode 121. You can check both those out there. Otherwise, you can write in like Eugene Levy Basis did here. We have an update from last week when I shared my story about buying Mario Wonder at a Costco. Eugene writes, "Hey Dukes, so you wanted to know what people at Costco yell out when they need assistance. My wife has been at Costco for about 6 years now, and she said they yell pickup, followed by whatever register they are on currently, while holding a big cardboard slab up high. Thanks for the great content as always, fellas, and I wasn't going to stay up late to play video games, and now I'm at work running on 4 hours of sleep kind of day." I think all of us listening to the show can relate, Facts. Eugene. So that's the story behind Costco video games, right? There was only one video game available for sale. It was Mario Wonder. Last week I bought it, and I had this experience where I was stunned at the process at how they acquired my game. She yelled something out. It turns out it was pickup. Whatever aisle I was on, this dude sprints out the back, grabs the cardboard slab, comes back out, and then hands me my goods afterwards when he was back there for like 3 minutes. It was pretty crazy. So thank you, Eugene, and to your wife for the clarity. We definitely appreciate that.
I think what would be funny is if he'd have sprinted back after he gave it to you.
Like, yeah, right. He was really on the move. Like it was everything to him getting me my game.
Hilarious. I love it. Pick up.
Anyway, we hope everyone had a great Halloween. That holiday just passed. Maybe you got a lot of candy or took your kids around to get some candy. You dressed up, had some fun. This is our first time as homeowners with Halloween. So we put out some Pokemon cards.
Okay.
Speaking of Costco, they had this great thing there. I found it was like a trick or treat card pack thing. It was like $10, and it was just Pokemon card packs. So I bought a bag of candy. I bought those. I was like, dude, we got to be like, we're the new guys on the block. Like, we got to be the house, right? Like, we don't have the decorations up now. We're still figuring things out. But I was like, let's have the goods, right? Like, this is the house that's going to be talked about. Like, yo, remember that house that had Pokemon cards? So we laid them out.
Okay.
And the Pokemon cards were gone before the candy was.
Yo, them kids are serious with it.
Yeah. It's funny because, like, and I'm proud of some of these kids. They were taking a lot more than they were supposed to. That. And we're all guilty of it. I don't want anyone listening. Like, I never did that. Bro, when I saw an empty... This is a great development. There was some reservation at the hands of the youth here, right? When I see an empty bowl or a bowl out there on the steps and they're like, please take one, I'm like, okay. Come on. take one, take a five, right?
Take a little stash.
I'm glad that the youth is still conniving, still thriving off people who are trusting them, like myself. So yeah, it was their first time as homeowners, and I bring all this up because now we're moving past Halloween, Cog. Nicholas Brillhart has the right to set us up for the next phase of the holidays. Greetings, Dukes. With this episode being recorded fresh off of Halloween, it's time to answer the all-important question of the season. How soon is it to start rocking Christmas music? Have a I just wanted to start Jacint, but Starfield is still calling kind of day. So is it time to get festive, Cog? Are you like a post-Thanksgiving guy, or is it December have to hit? When is it time to start turning on the Christmas tunes?
I mean, I'm not the big holiday guy, but historically it's the month of December. Like if you busting the tools out now, it's kind of early for all that. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to get into the season, into the mood of it. So I have friends that, they'll probably start one or 2 weeks early. They'll have the decorations up. They'll do the whole, bed. I know people who really take it dead serious. They go caroling, they grabbing the whole family, they going from house to house. And if you with them, they grabbing you.
I've never gone caroling. That's pretty maniacal.
Dress up, elf and the whole thing, and the family and the uncle, and I'm just like, yo, this is real out here. Yeah, I got a homie out in Long Island. There's like, if you do Christmas with us, you in it. And I'm like, damn.
You're not showing up around the holidays.
Yeah, I was like, because they get mad at me. I was like, they were like, you're not coming. Like, I'm good.
You're like, guys,
bro, it's like I gotta perform. Like you gotta be in a take your paces, everyone, places. Like, nah, I'm good. So now, but usually that early December, people already get into that mode. But what about you? Is this the time for Maddie? Is Maddie busting out all types of song right now?
It's time to start warming up.
Oh,
that's what I call it. It's a warm up, right? Like you don't have to grind it, but it's time to start firing up the tunes. Halloween is a phase. Okay. The phase is over now. We're in transition. So we're starting to just once a week, a little bit of Christmas music pumping, right? Just a little bit.
Okay, all right.
Once Thanksgiving is over, for those who celebrate, that's where the switch flips, right? That's where day after Thanksgiving, it's been a tradition since I was a kid. You go out, you buy the tree, right? You get the tree set up and everything.
Get it early.
You decorate that week, probably that next weekend, something like that. That's how it always goes. If you want to know how to celebrate Christmas, you come to me, Nicholas, all right? Okay. I'll walk you through it. But you have my permission. Now's a good time to start just kicking the tunes, right? Start thinking of those gift ideas for your loved ones, for your friends.
All right, I got that.
Right? Like just get the juices flowing. Like now time's ticking. You don't want to be that person who shows up with a gift late and like when the person opens it, they're like, damn, they thought it was last minute. Like, you don't want to.
You don't want to do it with the socks and
socks and razors. And there you go.
What was the funny joke? Oh, Eddie Murphy had a joke back in the day. He said like they used to get this whack cologne called Brute. By Fabergé. I said, you get the whack gift was last minute cheap.
Here's one you can lean into a little bit more, I think, Cog. Let's talk about food. Nevis has the right in. Still focused on the holidays here. All right, Dukes. Let's discuss another food topic. How do you feel about eggnog? It only comes around starting around Halloween and leaves just after Christmas. Do you enjoy the alcoholic or a non-alcoholic version? I've struggled finding a good non-alcoholic version in the last few years because stores have stopped carrying my favorite brands. I hope you all enjoy the upcoming holidays. So, Cog, I need to know, like, what's your nog takes here, shall we?
Well, I got to shout out my good brother, Lord Sovereign. We of the original South Bronx connection on my Puerto Rican delegation, we are fans of the coquito, which is the Spanish version of eggnog, so to speak.
And, educate me. I've not heard of this.
Oh, man, this thing hits so different. And we're known to have some libations, some different beverages with that kick, that alcoholic kick, and it goes down so smooth. So, yeah, that coquito is, it's God tier. I can't do regular eggnog after I have been blessed with the Puerto Rican blessing of eggnog. Like that's what I do. So I would highly advise Anybody Spanish, tell them, and they make a good coquito. Just try it. Just say, hey, I've never had it before. Let me see. You're not going back, bro. You're
Oh,
not going back. It is
I'm seeing some pictures.
amazing.
Ooh, this looks
Yeah,
dangerous.
I am honorary Puerto Rican at that day. I don't even need to have a holiday to celebrate it. If they have coquito, I am around. I am listening.
Sir.
Shout out to Lord Sav and Mama Sav for indoctrinating me into the culture.
Sir.
Yes. So good.
See, I'm a bit of a simpleton then in comparison. For me, it's some store-bought. I had to remind myself of the brand Hood.
Okay.
Hood. It's just a red oval Hood. They make a great vanilla nog that I usually try to be sparing with. Like, I can only handle so much of it. A nice small round cup.
Okay.
And I'm good, right? Like, I've seen a buddy of mine, Connor, this dude will like top off a gallon of nog on his own. I'm just like, bro, that's like so rich. It's such a strong, even on its own, like it's such a strong drink.
Facts.
I think I've always just been sensitive. Those types of like heavy, sugary drinks. Like my body forces me to take it in doses, right? Like, yo, you went really hard when you were a teenager. You had soda every day. Like, we can't do this anymore. Like tone it down. Just sip a little bit, right? So that's how I drink my nog. I don't do any mixes or anything. I mean, I don't drink much alcohol in the first place.
Yeah, you're not a big alcohol guy.
That's why I keep it nice and simple and basic. But I'm open to the audience pitching some nog concoctions our way. I think that'd be kind of cool.
I like that.
Get a little holiday taste test going here across the LSM community. So if you got anything for me or Cog, let us know. So that's how we're doing eggnog nowadays. Cog, any health and wealth updates, or shall we get into games?
I've been good, man. Knock on wood. I have nothing negative to report. I've been feeling good. I've been in a good zone. I passed some more major checks and milestones. So I've just been trying to stick with it, man. So yeah. So knock on wood so far.
Good.
Just kick it, and the weight's down too. So I'm happy about that.
There you go. Yeah, I actually I wanted to share something with the audience that I've been doing. We talked a lot about listening to like game music at the gym. Okay. I think I have discovered a new life hack. Many people who listen to Constellation know, I think it was my first ever topic was life hacks. Like something I wanted to just bring out. Or no, first ever was social media, but it was one of my first. Anyway, I've been trying to just go steadily to the gym and just do cardio. And the reason I've been wanting to do cardio is what I'm doing here. I'm sitting. I just sit a lot. And so I want to make sure I'm there, at least moving, getting the heart racing, sweating for 45 minutes. Cardio can be really boring.
Hell yeah.
And so that's why a lot of people avoid it. I've always enjoyed, because I'm always on screens, the break, almost the mundane nature of it. But because I'm trying to create a gym routine out of it too, usually I'll just like jog around the neighborhood or whatever. I found this new life hack, Cog. I've been watching anime at the gym.
Interesting.
So I get there, and what I've been doing is like, there's treadmills, there's like these ellipticals that have like a hills mode that fucking kills, dude.
Yeah, it's no joke.
That one's legit. And then bikes, and I just do a little bit of a cardio cycle for almost an hour between these all, and I just switch day to day. Like maybe I'll be on the treadmill for half an hour, and then I'll go on the elliptical for 15, 20, and then just like top it off with a bike, or just only do 2 to 3 and so on and so forth. But what I've been doing is I just fire up, like I've been catching up on JJK. And like, that's my gauge, is I just lose time while I'm there, lose track of time. Like I'll just be running at like full speed, sweating.
Wow. A ton. You can watch the whole joint?
And I'm watching while it's all happening. I mean, you take the risk though. I want to let people know, you take the risk of anime can be out there. And like, there was one day the gym was packed. I had like people left and right of me. And I'm just watching like Gojo go to work, and I'm just fucking sprinting. I'm just thinking like, man, they're probably looking at me like, this dude's a freak. But, you got to get into your zone. And I recommend it to people. Like, I know some people listen to us, for example, while they're at the gym. Yeah. So they already know that's part of the time killers. I think podcasts are great for weightlifting. But if you're like a cardio grinder and you're trying to, like, I struggle to watch TV. Like when I get home, I want to game. Like that's my number one choice. I want to game. Anime is like the perfect 20-minute episode. You get 2 or 3 of those done. And when those are done, you've worked out enough.
That's pretty...
You lose track of time, especially like the point I'm at in JJK with this Shibuya arc. I'm like, I'm not a big JJK fan, but I'm like, this is fucking good. And I'm just getting lost in it while I'm sweating. It's awesome. Really recommended to people who want to get to the gym and not maybe lose out on their favorite hobbies.
What's dope is it's a great time passer because you lose track of time. I just got to give you credit. I don't know how you doing it with the movement and the focus. Like that.
I have to break my eyes up. Yeah. what I have to do is, especially because of like a lot of what I've learned about my balance issues has been eye related, like eye strain related, eye irritation related.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'll do sometimes to center myself is I'll like pause the show if anyone's having trouble with this. And it's much easier on the elliptical, but I'll like pause the show while I'm running on the treadmill and kind of just look straight and just let my eyes focus on something in the distance and then start the show again and look at something close up, which is apparently how you're supposed to work with your eyes anyway. Like take breaks from the screen and look at something in the distance and then come back in something more close up and you know, it doesn't strain your eyes as much. But I haven't had as many issues, which I'm surprised by because my biggest worry was like taking a misstep and leg goes out. So remember, there are other more stable ones, like instead of the treadmill, maybe do it on the elliptical, do it on the bike. But I know the bike, I'll just get lazy with it. So I try to avoid the bike.
Try to avoid the bike. You want to put some work in.
Just wanted to share that. A little help us both update.
That's dope.
The Outer Worlds. I thought this one would be great here at the top. Because anytime I talk about the Outer Worlds, I'm going to get a little snippy here with the audience. Anytime I talk about the Outer Worlds, someone just feels compelled to write in on how much of a failure this game is.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of people don't seem to like the Outer Worlds, but that's which I know. I have the same reaction. A lot of people don't really like it. They're like, nah, it could have been better. They're usually talking on a quality front, but the Outer Worlds, it has been confirmed that they're just saying the Outer Worlds. So I don't know if this includes the new Spacer's Choice Edition, but it has sold 5 million copies, which I was very, very happy to see. Because not only has it had a good tale, which has been awesome for the game, because at first I thought a lot of the sales were spike driven. We knew 76 with its Fallout First membership was launching around that time, and there was a big like, look at what Obsidian's doing, look at what Bethesda Game Studios doing. Like it was a huge driving force to the Outer Worlds. A big time. And this is before they were brother and sister. So the first jokes we were making when those two were under the same umbrella is like, that's got to be an awkward conversation.
Because they were gearing up to be like, that's how I looked at them as the competitor, as we are the new version of you.
taking the crown effectively. So 5 million sales, Cog. Are we surprised by the success of the Outer Worlds?
Man, it's good to see. And again, it's the Western RPG, baby. I just love it. And first of all, I always say, like, whenever games put that much attention to detail and quality in the title screen and that music, and that's another one. Was it? Oh, that's my joy. What? So Outer Worlds, they did their thing. I'm super hype. I'm super hype for the sequel now because I have to admit, I do feel like why I love Starfield so much, and I've really started to narrow it down, is the companion system and the interactions with all of them. And Outer Worlds started something, and then Starfield took it to the next level. And now that Outer Worlds got time to say, okay, so y'all looked at our playbook. I want to know what they do with that. I want to know how they evolve that formula. And to the critics of Starfield who don't like, the procedural and, they feel like that's wasted. It should have been a more condensed, like maybe a Mr. Manly Plays, right? So, they are the hub world. They are the more condensed and they got an opportunity to answer in a way. So it's a friendly competition, but
I'm scared for that discourse. If Outer Worlds 2 is like extremely good, which I think right now with Obsidian's tracker, we have every right to assume it will be great. But if it ends up being like, yo, we got 12 planets, all handcrafted, full of
we got vehicles.
It's going to be looking really spooky for Starfield.
Well, I know Obsidian's coming. Like, I've never seen them up stage with a system that they started. So, again, it's beautiful. It's in-house. It's great. And we all benefit. So, competition, what is it? Steel sharpen steel. That kind of energy. But I'm super proud of them, and I'm hyped. That Outer Worlds 2 trailer was hilarious. I can't wait. And I think it's coming sooner than people think.
I agree. I literally think they could have an Insomniac moment where, how they did, I think it was Miles Morales and then Rift Apart in like an 8-month gap or something. I do think Avowed and Outer Worlds 2 can pull that off. Now, if Xbox wants that, is different, because we saw that email of Phil Spencer saying, like, if we got to hold something for a quarter, let's do it. So I don't know if it'll actually happen, but I do think this game will be, I'm with you, it'll be ready sooner than people are expecting, just because according to LinkedIn posts, like, the development started right after the first game ended. And they did 2 expansions for the game. So obviously not all of their efforts were there, but pre-production's definitely been in motion for the Outer Worlds 2 for a hot minute.
Yeah, absolutely. I was able to interview the lead writers from the first one, Megan, I believe last name Starks, and Natai. And they were coy while we were talking about this. Was right around when Murder of Iridanos just dropped. We was giving them their flowers. And, they were like, stay tuned. And at that time, now I find out they were already working on, part 2. So, yeah, it's going to be cooking. And they are hilarious. That's one thing I love about their writing.
Yes.
Absolutely hilarious.
Well, we talked a bit about Starfield, so let's move into that. We got a couple updates there. Bethesda spoke on Starfield's next update via a post on Twitter or X or whatever the hell you want to call it. They write, quote, "We've been hard at work on Starfield updates and we'll be putting out our next one into the Steam beta next week. So as of this time next week, you will see what is going to be NVIDIA's DLSS support with frame generation, display, and HDR controls for supported systems and other optimizations and improvements. They say you'll be able to try to opt in to try it via the Steam beta options. We'd love your feedback before it goes live for all PC and Xbox players after that. Stay tuned for the specifics soon, and thank you for playing." And they did say that FSR 3 will come soon after, so keep an eye out for that. So slowly but surely, Cog, we're getting all of these features that were expected at launch. Afterwards, how have you felt about Starfield's update output, where it came out at the top of September? And it's been 2 months, and we've got a couple of updates here. Do you expect more, a little bit quicker, given the success of it? How are you feeling about the updates?
Yeah, I would like them a little quicker, to be honest. I feel they're a little slow, but especially the PC guys, because this is very important to them, and I know the business aspect here. Corporate Cog knows what's going on. They had that deal with AMD. God Howard was telling you, if you want the optimized version, go get this, beast of a rig that'll be able to support, FS3.
Always over that answer. We did optimize it. You should probably upgrade your PC. It's like, holy
your PC's trash. It's optimized. Like, all right, calm down, God.
Not the best answer for him.
Yeah. Exactly. Not the best answer. But I understand. But I love the fact that, DLSS from the NVIDIA standpoint is really kind of like widespread. A lot of PC gamers prefer that tech or just want the option for the tech. So please give them that, put it in that testing environment. And then obviously the FSR3 crowd, they're still going to get something for them. So yeah, this is long overdue. And to your question, yeah, I want a little bit more frequency updates if we can. You know what I mean? I know you guys just made it to the finish line. I know celebration. I get it. But, and this thing is still in the top 10, I think it's still number 6 or 7 most played. But I would love to get, look, I still live in the game. I still play this thing all the time. I'm my ally and all that. So I still would love to see some type of features or what the roadmap is going to be coming.
Sure. Yeah, I agree. I think a more meaty update would suffice. I think it should be time for that, because they're not dropping, and the game was relatively polished at launch, so they're not really dropping massive patches with notes that are fixing quest after quest. Like, we've got a couple of patches and there's been like 3 to 4 fixes, if you will. Not that the game doesn't need more, but their silence is a little peculiar. But I'm sure next year, at the top of next year, maybe I still feel like Xbox is planning some sort of developer direct at the top of the year again to start to set the table for what 2024 will look like. So we'll see then.
I agree.
A little bit more on Starfield here. I thought this was an interesting stat that it's been confirmed that Starfield's monthly active users were only beat out by one game in September, and that game was Fortnite. So pretty impressive stuff there. Given that Fortnite is the titanic behemoth it is, and Starfield is, as a single player RPG, is pulling in close to those numbers is crazy. So, Cog, shall you hit the beat for us?
Now I got the damn out of the world's beat in my head. I got to get my Starfield. Ding. Yeah, man, I love that joint. Shout out to the cops. They love it too. Bro, this is it. Look at that right now. Still the top 10, right next to Grand Theft Auto and Minecraft, sandwiched between, and again, single player experience. I think Jez put it best, and I in reference to the stickiness of Starfield. And if you think about it, Bethesda kind of makes, he's used the word that I like, it's like a single player live service game, because there's so much content that you still going to experience new things, or someone else experiences something else, and there's still so much you may not have done. So I think that's what drives it. So yeah, this thing's going to be around for a while, but to be on par with the guy. And let's keep it a buck. Fortnite is the guy. He's
as a new IP too, by the way.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Like, it is just super impressive. So again, Microsoft is very happy about this. Bethesda is very happy about this. And that's why I guess selfishly, I just want more content already. Like, I'm ready to jump
You
back.
would think it would fire off quicker with those types of stats.
Yeah, like,
I don't even think you're selfish for that. I think the expectation is fair.
Yeah.
The second Fortnite saw that type of success, they're like, all right, like, we're switching teams over here. Like, go, 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 go.
Exactly.
So we'll see what Bethesda does in response to that popularity.
Yeah, but super impressive.
This is a much needed update. Baldur's Gate 3 on Xbox. According to Swen Vink, it is still being play tested and is on schedule for this year. So the clock is ticking. Maybe by December, we'll have Baldur's Gate 3 in hand on Xbox systems. I think it's just the right time, right? I think people are getting ready to move on from, at least on their Xbox systems, getting ready to move on from Starfield. And this would be a great one to have waiting for you at the end of that journey.
Absolutely, especially with the Game Awards coming up.
Yeah, right.
It'd be nice if Xbox players be able to play and know what everyone else is experiencing. But yeah, I think it's coming. Hopefully, it's this month. But yeah, I would have loved if it was ready at that third-party direct. But obviously, they still needed more time. But yeah, drop this bad boy. Let this community, and I'm curious to see how it does on Xbox from an engagement standpoint.
Agreed. This one we're going to stick for a while with because I know, Cog, you'll have a ton to say here. It's definitely been the talk of the industry. Anytime I sign on social media or YouTube, I'm getting videos and tweets recommended about this. So let's talk about Bungie, who has suffered massive layoffs with around 100 employees impacted due to what Bloomberg claims is a PlayStation-wide money-saving initiative. Also, according to Bloomberg, this is said to be due to revenue running 45% below projections this year, with Destiny 2 featuring its weakest player retention yet, arriving after Lightfall. Kasdan Risk writes in, "Hey Dukes, what are your thoughts on the layoffs?" I almost said that like an Australian, layoffs at Bungie, and the delay of Destiny to final shape. Well, this sort of news is always disheartening. I can't help but be totally shocked at how some of those affected are those I'd consider vital veterans to the studio. Interested to hear your take on it and have it. I can't think of a witty exit remark kind of day. Now, to kind of round off what Kasdan is inferring to, let's talk with Steve Forgione, and then Cog, I want to kick it to you because naturally I think you're going to have a lot to say here. Hey, Dukes, with the layoffs unfortunately hitting Bungie, one of them that was affected was a longtime Bungie composer, Michael Salvatore. Since he was instrumental in collaborating with Marty O'Donnell on the Halo series, do we see a potential reunion between Salvatore and Microsoft? Please let me know what your thoughts are on this, and have a 343 has the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever kind of day. See, yeah, that was definitely the big face that people were talking about, was Michael Salvatore, the man who helped alongside Marty O'Donnell compose the Halo soundtrack, which is one of the most iconic in gaming. Obviously, a lot of work on the Destiny 1 and 2 soundtracks, which are fantastic unto themselves. And so, Cog, you have been playing Destiny for years and years and years. This is the most negativity I've seen surrounding this team really ever, I think. And we've been through the launch of Destiny 1, the launch of Destiny 2, and the ups and downs of that. With the final shape coming up, and for them to hit such a tremendous low, with the player retention being so weak, you talked about how bad Lightfall really was, and the revenue being, to me, the real figure that stands out. 45% below projections. That's a pretty big miss here, where they've started to lay people off, even vital members of the team. And this apparently comes as part of a PlayStation-wide money-saving initiative, where this is the team that they bet on for games as a service, right? This was their big bet on that. This was the team that they let decide what Naughty Dog could do with factions. Yeah. And it's easy for us on the outside to say, Naughty Dog deserves a chance. I would agree with that. We don't know what the quality of the product and factions was, but to see Bungie was the one making those calls, and then to see how things are doing on their own home turf. What does all of this say to you, from Michael Salvatore to the state of the game? What do you see in the future here? Go on for as long as you'd like, sir.
Yeah, I'm going through it. I'm going through it, man. Oh, this is tough. This is tough because the human side of me is, let's just, be clear. Like, I absolutely love this game. I've never played a game as long as this in the history of probably gaming. Bungie, literally, you want to talk about the soundtrack to life, like, between Halo and Destiny, like this is COG, right? So, it comes down to the news. Obviously, we heard what was going on, right? And then we see the manner in which people are laid off. And it was just disgusting. It was absolutely disgusting. The lack of notice, some people with their IDs, access, not even granted, or just told to come into the office for an important meeting, people crying at their desks, not getting a chance to say goodbye to any of their coworkers, their team managers not even knowing not knowing people getting laid off, nor who was getting laid off. And when you read more of the reports, the more frustrating part is I told everybody about how Lightfall was a disappointment. And to hear that a lot of the people who were let off, including team managers who are still retained, were pleading with upper management to what the player base wanted. Hey, you guys got to fix this. You guys got to, and then another thing has been Destiny is one of these games where it's just way too many monetization models in the same game. You can't be free to play when you have no access to anything. Then you got a battle pass. Then you got expansions. Then you got microtransactions. Then you got pay to level up on the battle pass. Then you got, okay, here's a shader, but you can't get that unless you buy this $25 package. You may just want this one thing, but you have to buy it in the group, right? And it's just starting to get more egregious and egregious. And, we used to talk about it on The Last Word with Ebontis and Ty Guy Travis, and we used to be like, yo, and Travis would be like, yo, they're the only company that gets away with this, right? Because it's so beloved. They have one of the most loyal bases, right? Mm-hmm. But after a while, you keep, doing your base dirty, right?
Yeah.
It's going to come back to you. And this is what's happening right now. So to hear them say 45% of the revenue, right? You have overshot. You told Sony, we're going to be, this is what we expect after this, right? Then you couple that with an overall Sony initiative. I just heard rumors today. I don't know how true it is, Manny, but Insomniac just let some people go. You know what I'm saying? I'll send you some links. Yeah, I'll send you some stuff that I get. I don't know all of these sources of edit. I just saw some stuff that came across my line. I'll send it to you. We heard about Media Molecule. So if there is an initiative, right, from Sony to say, okay, we have to cut based on the internal changes we're making, and then Bungie themselves are now, because from what I understand, Sony is not picking and choosing who's getting let go on Bungie. That's still a Bungie decision. But I have to be fair to Sony and still that this is a lot of Bungie mismanagement. And we just got to call it for what it is. At the end of the day, they put themselves in this position. They overshot themselves. And here's the thing that people are saying. Destiny is the moneymaker for them. Destiny allowed them to say, okay, we're going to make Marathon and we're going to make another game, right? But in the process of doing that, you neglect the game that's your money maker. You don't get the dedicated PvP. You don't do all the things the community wants, right? And here's the other thing, man. We just got to be honest. This is Bungie. Generally, whatever they touch tends to be good from a feeling and a shooting standpoint. But I have to be honest. In 2023, 2024, who's clamoring for an extraction shooter? Right? We have to see how that's going to go. That's a very big risk on their part. So now we get to the brass tacks. This is the first time, as a person who's seen Destiny at its lowest lows and the highest highs, this is the first time I will honestly say, I don't know if this game going to survive. And that's why it's emotional for me, because the way it's playing out with the fan distrust, the unrest, you got Bungie employees who are still there, disgusted at how it happened, publicly speaking. You've got people who left airing out all the dirty business. And now they didn't even want no one to know Final Shape was delayed now. You know what I'm saying? For more time. Marathon delayed now. Apparently, there's a This Week at Bungie supposed to go down. That I think it's today. Let's see if they update it. They have not said anything besides Pete Parsons' tweet. And here's the thing about that: you got to say to people, hire these people, go out there and these are good people. This is unfortunate, but y'all are the ones that made the bad decisions to get people in this situation. So the people who are fighting to listen to the community to save the game are the ones being penalized and let go. And the people who made the incorrect decisions at upper management, they get to stay and continue on with bad decision making. Yeah. Something's got to change. And at some point, it's like being in a relationship with a chick who don't realize that she's the problem. You can blame Microsoft, You could blame Activision, you could blame Sony, but it could be you all along, right? So that's where I'm at with it. And it's sad because the last thing I say is I'm going long.
No, you're good. You're good.
It's just, I'm in a tough spot because there's a part of me that's like, look, played this game a long time. The way the upper management is moving, it's disgusting. You know what I mean? You're done. You know what I'm saying? But there's another part of me. I've been playing this game for 10 years. I do want to see it through. But whatever the final shape, and then after that, I can make my decision. And then the other part of it is that there are still good people who retain. That's another thing he said, Maddie. We kept the right people. Bro, that is a bad statement.
That's a bad thing to say. I didn't know he said that. Wow.
Yeah, internally, it wasn't supposed to get out right after the layoffs. So don't worry, because he trying to build morale for the people. Don't worry, we kept the right people. So Michael Salvatore is not one of the right people. You left the people. You got rid of all your comms team, the people who talk to the community, who do all this. Like,
that was crazy. Yeah, the comms team. That's pretty fucking wild, dude.
Artists, engineers, the artists that like, bro, this is crazy to me. And then the disrespect to Salvatore is next level. I'm just going to be real. I am a person that I will fight people in the street if they ever go at Destiny's music. I feel Destiny music should be nominated every year. You may not like the game, but when it comes to the music, they let go of the guy. If you look up a song, it's called Deep Stone Lullaby. It is one of the most beautifulest songs that is in the Deep Stone Crypt raid. People, grown men tears when they get to that part. It's a part where Bungie, you do this cool thing and the raid goes into outer space and this beautiful music plays. The guy who made that got let go. That is iconic, right? Like Michael Salvatore was right along. They also let the chick that made the Halo logo go?
Really?
Bro, this is crazy. So again, the last point I'll say, I don't know. The reason why it is doom and gloom a bit is not that another game is going to kill you, right? But you overshot. You did it in one of the years. Let's be honest. This is one of the greatest years in gaming. So people could afford to miss Destiny, right? Now you've delayed your game and you're going to have a 7-month season where attrition is going to be there. You're going to tell people to sit there and wait. Your player numbers are not going to get any better. And it's not like last time when you delayed Witch Queen, when you can make the 30th anniversary game and you could put in content to supplement. You have less people to do that with. I don't know how I'm not saying it's impossible. I just don't know how they overcome this. And now we're hearing reports. People are so mad at how this went down. And the pre-orders were already low for Final Shape. People are canceling pre-orders now because of all this was happening. So it's bad. It's bad. I feel terrible for everyone who got let go. It's a game I love. I don't want it to go away. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, this if it does happen, this will be one of the inflection points that we'll look back, right? And we'll say, hey, this is, Bungie killed Destiny. The only Destiny killer, because I always used to joke with the Destiny killer crew. They used to come for me. But literally, I always say to myself, the only person who will kill this game is themselves. And if that happens, they have nothing but themselves to blame.
Wow. Very well said. Yeah. I think the only thing I can add on to that is, it wouldn't really be an addition, to be more a reiteration. For me, I have to work with what I know, which is like, I know Michael Salvatore, right? Like, I know his work through Halo. I'm not a Destiny player. Many people already know this. I've tried Destiny. One of my biggest critiques of Destiny was its monetization. And I talked about how it is, look, I don't know how people got into the game. I feel like that is the most you were grandfathered into it kind of game ever made. Like, it is
the worst
onboarding. Granted, I haven't played, like, I think you said Lightfall helped improve the onboarding for new players.
Not that much.
Before that, at least, that's when I tried it, played it for 15-ish hours. That onboarding is terrible, y'all. And so I think that hurt them, that, they were kind of in the 76 pocket in a way where they just had a massive core base where, like, I always look at 76 as like, it's an over monetized game. You have the try monetization, you have the battle pass, you have the atomic shop, you have the cosmetics, you had just all this crap, right? They're just milking all those core fans who are going to buy all of this stuff. The difference with Destiny is the pool is massive. And so you brought to light all of the different ways they monetize the game. The fact that there were story beats that I'm playing that are being referenced in current story beats that I just can't go and play to fuel that monetization. I always thought that was a really weird choice, really weird. And I know you've talked about them walking that back a bit, but the fact that that ever happened and that people didn't leave the game en masse, that it didn't just shut the game down there, is a testament to what you said, that the only people who could kill it is them, right? And I look at something like what happened with Michael Salvatore, and I think to myself, like, look, we're in an industry where nothing is secure in the creative field. Like, that much is true. And I know this industry is looking to unionize more. We're looking for more job security and all that stuff. But right now we live in a day and age where, like, just creative endeavors, like, you have to, I was talking to my programmer the other day, and we were just talking on how, like, if you work in this field, you kind of have to accept, like, you're not going to make a lot of money, and job security isn't always a guarantee, unfortunately, which is scary. But it's a testament to how much people love doing this. There's a small list of people you can think of in this industry that have job security, right?
Good point.
You think of a Todd Howard, for example, unless he royally fucks up. And I'm talking beyond 76.
Right.
Like, it would have to be a personal affair there. I think this guy could have like two 76s in a row, and I think he'd still be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are certain characters in this industry that are just untouchable. And I would say Michael Salvatore is on that list, right? When you help compose, I can't speak too much to the Destiny soundtrack, but I know it's adored, and you've posted your gym photos, and you'll see it on the iPod Touch, right? When you work on the Halo soundtrack, and it's not just like oh man, he had it back then, but he carries it further and into these new games. Like, he hasn't lost his touch. That goes on that list of people who should be untouchable. Now, that's not just no disrespect to other people who lost their jobs. I'm more so just saying that it brings to light a problem in this industry, which is, think of the message that's sent there. If this dude, you're trying to crack in, if this man can't hold his job with a company that just got bought out by PlayStation, who is guiding, while people may critique the gameplay or the monetization, I think one thing that I could confidently say Destiny does right: atmosphere, music, right? The artistic direction, the music synchronized really well. Like, they've got something there. It's probably one of the main reasons people continue to play. If this dude's getting iced, I know it's a one-off example, but if he's getting iced right now, and you're looking to crack in, what does that say to you,
bro?
I'd be like, he can't hold the job. What about me, right? And everyone's probably thinking that to some extent, to varying degrees. That was my main takeaway. I'm like, what kind of message does that send? Where if you're trying to break in, it's more a message about Bungie. This isn't really an industry-wide thing, although I think the lack of security applies industry-wide. But, like, if you're looking to apply to Bungie and you see that, like, that's part of their problem. They've laid off a ton of people, and when they start to recruit again for Marathon, when it's time to scale up, people are going to look at what happened here and be like, this is just a pit stop. They have lost that sort of, like, I saw, I'm forgetting her name, but she originally worked at Game Informer. She moved to head of the comms division for Destiny 2 for Bungie. But she was very much like affirmed that, like, this is my home. Like, this is where I belong. And, like, people think that way about some of their jobs where they're affirmed, they have that security, and it gets pulled out from under them. So I'm going on here, but I just think it just sends a really poor message for people who ever want to join that team, that this is not a good place to go and work.
Absolutely. And the sad part about it, which really makes it disgusting, is that, a lot of it, you can tell, is pure salary and money based, and we're cutting based off that. Basically, the loyalty and the contribution meant nothing. And like you said, that's why the Michael Salvatore one really hits home, right? Because, again, we're not minimizing anyone else that got let go, right? But there's certain figures you just think in your mind, oh yeah, there's no way they could, let this person go, right? Based on what it means to the franchise. And I've actually reached out to Michael in the past. We just couldn't get the scheduling on. We've had his co-composer, who's also he's really cool. His name is Sky Lewin. And so far, it looks like he's still there. But so many others got let go. And it's just, again, it goes to show you, this is another reason why people are very scared of the video games industry, because we're talking about a year where we have all this record revenue and record profit, and everyone's raking in. But you can't find a way to retain the talent that creates the profit, that drives this investment. And that's the part that sucks. And that's why people are screaming unionization. That's why people are really up at all. These are the things that are passionate about me. And for me, this is really disheartening. Like, Destiny is my comfort food. That's my favorite. I've met so many people because of this game. Like, I literally live this game. And to see it, if it does end this way, is disgusting. It's embarrassing. And it's an indictment in the industry. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, I'm not wishing bad on them, but it puts me in a position where it's like I'm trying to cheer for the people who are still there that are trying to make the game good. But then you have these managers and team leadership making stupid decisions who technically they should be let go. Or in some cases, how about you take a salary cut for your poor performance and your stupid estimates and your, and you gouging and completely miscalculate 45% revenue that you missed, that you thought was going to happen. And your own
doesn't even
team,
mean they're not profitable. It just means they missed a metric, so that's also part of it.
Yeah, and one last thing, another thing that people are really complaining about is they built this enormous, elaborate new building, millions of dollars in this very downtown, area of Bellevue that apparently is like super bougie area. Like, for what? You don't think that could have been used? And then here's the other thing. They were talking about remote work. We love remote work. That doesn't scream remote work. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of things going on, and it just goes to show you. It's like this, what is it, the Scooby-Doo? I would have got away with it if it wasn't with those. When they pull the mask off and it was you all along. That's what it's looking like. It's Bungie. It's you all along. You blamed everybody else. And another point, I just remembered. This is why Microsoft, when they looked at, team acquisition, when they looked at Bungie, they had the pluses and the negatives, right? Destiny law. And then they looked at the burn rate. And they may be not making the numbers that they saying they making. You see what I'm saying? That was one of Microsoft's concerns. And that could be very well true, because if you have to monetize to that level, that's that check to check energy. and your fans are telling you, bro, this is egregious. Stop. No, you out there. You need that bread. So this is where we at. And now if it comes from the top, it's cutting across all along, and now you got to comply, this is where we are.
Yeah. It always goes back to, it's relevant to what I talked about last week or the week before. I forgot what the subject matter was, but I just don't think people realize, unless you work in the industry, how much money flows into it. How you'd think you'd be forgiven for thinking this by the way these fucking execs talk and the news we have to cover here. You'd think like, man, it's struggle city out here. You'd really think so. And I'm not saying that like there isn't risk involved. Like, that is one thing, that games are a risk, just like movies are a risk, just Absolutely. Like shows are a risk. There's no guarantees in the creative world. Everybody knows that. But there's this act in our industry, like it's exclusive to us. And it's not. It's like there's so much fucking money in this industry where this should not be happening in mass as much as it does anymore. There was a wave during the 360 PS3 days where after every project, a lot of people would get laid off, right? But now what's happening is like we're mid-development. Like we're moving to the final shape, and like now tons of people are getting laid off. Like it's just happening in these random doses, and you'd think, you'd be forgiven for thinking like, oh, well, we don't got a lot of money in this industry, so I get it. They had to make some cuts. And it's like, no, like, I guarantee Pete's doing just fucking fine. Takes that big cut. The execs at the top take those big cuts that they could live happily off of. I know it's easy to tell people what to do with their own money, but look, man, like we work in the games industry. We know this shit. Like these dudes are filthy rich. And I'm tired of the pretend act that like there isn't an insane cash flow in this industry. These dudes are millionaires.
Facts.
They have tons of money. They can't afford the pay cut to help their company recoup and get back on their feet and probably make more in the end of it all, by the way. Because everyone, if Cyberpunk wasn't anything to go by, loves a good comeback story. I don't even think Destiny needed a comeback. They just needed to bounce back well from a shit expansion, which is a whole different story.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, go on. That's all I have to say on this subject.
You're cooking, bro. You're cooking. Yeah, that's what it is. And it just goes to show. I think the only time I've ever seen it was the Nintendo executive that he himself said, you know what, I'm going to take this pay cut so that,
that's a cultural thing, I think, right?
Yeah. You know what I mean? And it goes to show you. So yeah, like these people up top, are living very comfortably. And again, what bothers me, it's the mistakes of upper management, yet the creatives have to suffer. And the video game industry has to change, bro. It has to. Like, this is terrible stuff. And I'm hoping, because it's Bungie, the only positive I can get out of this is that this induces change. People wake up and say either, I don't know if it's unionization or some type of protections involved. Because especially with the way they got did dirty with the shares. Did you see that, Maddie? With the shares?
Oh, no. Tell me.
Yeah, they were like, oh man, this part I got to read it from the Bloom. All right. So employees obviously will let go, receive at least 3 months of severance and 3 months of Bungie, Cobra. Although other benefits, they said ended Monday. But they said laid off staffers will also receive prorated bonuses, although those who were on a vesting schedule following Sony's acquisition of Bungie in January 2022 will lose any shares that weren't vested as of next month. So if you're fired, you're let go, you don't get those shares that you were supposed to get, because those go back to them. And which makes it so egregious is, prior to, remember the acquisition, one of the things that Bungie and Sony was shouting for the repo, we acquired this and we've got this money set so that no one is going to get laid off. They said this at the acquisition. They said layoffs were not going to happen. We got this protection in place. Everyone is fine. And look who we are. Here we are now. And they're firing people. And now they don't even get those vested shares. That's disgusting. Right. That's really predatory. I'm sorry.
Right.
Like, yeah, let me go. This is just a sad day for me. I'm processing right now.
I feel you.
I'm going through it right now.
Certainly we'll have updates by next week when we record, or even by the time this episode goes out for everyone. And we'll talk more about Destiny 2 then. But is there anything else you want to say to cap it off?
Oh, good to go.
All right. Let's talk about another controversy that we don't have many answers for, but it is just happening and we do have a write-in on it. So I at least want to address it and make people aware of it. Xbox has hiked the prices of the Series S in Brazil specifically with no comment, no official post, nothing. Eder Giordano, writes in, "Hey Dukes, got to start by saying that I'm Brazilian, so this affects me directly. What do you guys think of the price hike of the Series S that Microsoft told only the press was going to happen? I don't know if you two saw anything about that, but Xbox is increasing the price of the Series S in Brazil, matching it with the price of the PS5 digital. It's not taxes or the PS5 digital wouldn't be able to be priced like that under the same market. Inflation is less than 5% on the last 12 months, and the exchange rates on the dollar and the Brazilian real have been somewhat stable for almost 3 years. There's just no justification to increase the price like that on Xbox's third biggest market. Now, if someone had $720 to buy a console 3 times the minimum wage, they'd have to choose between the Series S and a PS5, and that's just not a fair fight for the little man. And to make things worse, there's absolutely no communication from Xbox about this. Zero. Not on Xbox Wire, not on the press. They are just pretending not to see. I don't understand this treatment with Xbox's third biggest market, and it makes me want to sell all my games and consoles and go full pony. Sorry for the bad English, Eder. You were fine. It was totally fine. Cog. I caught wind of this. I remember seeing Jez report it. Clobril was talking about it a little bit. And I was looking for the official word, but there really wasn't any statements at all. It just happened. And you got to wonder what's going on here, because I think the biggest point that Eder brought to our attention is that you're matching a PS5. And look, that's an easy choice for anyone with the cash flow. That's easy. You go get the PS5 every single day. With how inconsistent the Series S, it's a powerful system, but how inconsistent it can be. Like, you go and get the PS5 digital, you're like, I get all the third-party games, and I get all the PlayStation. Like, you as Xbox never want to make it an easy choice to skip out on your price-friendly system, like the one that's supposed to be under the cut. So, Cog, I know we don't have any inside scoops on this, but like, what do you make of the price hike for the Series S in Brazil?
Yeah, it's a terrible look. It's terrible. I can't understand the reasoning behind it, the logic behind it. I wish I had, someone who was like a Brazilian financial analyst or economist to kind of understand why is it only applying to Series S? Is this something that's going to happen to all consoles eventually? Will PlayStation have to do something? But you said it best. Like the Series S, the whole existence of it was the 2 SKU approach, right? To come in on the lower end for someone that's new to the ecosystem, most likely, right? And the Game Pass machine that's all digital, but it's the little, underpowered brother of the big brother, right? And now this is the same price equivalent to your direct competitor who is more powerful you in that space from their digital model. Look, I would assume Microsoft doesn't like this, but clearly they were.
No
I don't
comment.
know what the decision, whether it was like they have to because of. I can't. I don't even want to speculate too much. I want more information on this, but I don't like it. It's not a good look. And the only comment that they shot to my man Sam Tolbert, who wrote the article for Windows Central, he said the only comment that when he reached out to Microsoft for comment, the company referred us to the enemy's article. That's the Brazilian outlet. It just said, go there. They holla at Brazil. Like what does that mean?
Was it a decision by like Xbox Latin America kind of like that?
And here's the other thing, Maddie. Like I believe Phil and Sarah are going to be out there in Brazil soon for something. Yeah, there's some type of, because I think that's one of their territories. So that reception is going to be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's just strange because you don't want, if you raise the price, that sucks, but rendering it almost useless to buy is such a silly thing to do to yourself.
Yeah.
Especially when it's one of your biggest regions and you want to retain that.
Yeah, and it says the price increase is only applying to the white 512 gigabyte Series S, not the 1 terabyte black model. This is very strange. Very I don't know, and hopefully we could get more answers on this and they make a forward-facing comment. So this is weird.
We'll keep an eye out.
Yeah.
Grounded is getting a new Playgrounds mode. It was announced, which is basically Forge for Grounded, for those who need a little mental idea for it, a little image. You can craft your own levels from the ground up with puzzles, mini games, battle arenas, place for AI, and so much more, with no limit to the amount of objects that you can place in a level. And there are hundreds of system changes and improvements being added to the game as well. So this is a pretty meaty one here. And I'm very excited to see what comes out of it. Just like Forge for Halo, will I be going in there? No, but will I let the community do so and make really cool things for me to play? Absolutely. Cog, are you excited for Playgrounds to come to Grounded?
Yeah, I'm happy that first of all, shout out to that team. I love Adam Finicky and those guys, and this is such a heroic story of this little game that turns out to be this really special product. Grounded is really good, y'all. It's fire to me. It did well. These type of creators, sandbox kind of things, like you said, the community is gonna come up with some stuff. Not me, because I'm not a creative, but I will wait, like you said, Maddie, for them to come up with something, and they're going to make some molds, and it looks really cool. I'm just happy that it's still getting support. It still has legs. And yeah, shout out to Obsidian, man. This was one of the sleepers that even I was like, all right, Obsidian, I don't know about that. I remember when I saw Grounded for the first time, I was hating. I was like, what are y'all doing? I was like, y'all messing up the streak. What y'all doing, right?
I don't think you're wrong.
And then I played. I'm like, yo, this is kind of fun, though. I don't even like these type of games. And I'm like, yo, next thing you know, 4 of the homies, we in the backyard and we doing it up. And it was really good. So salute to them, man. This is a good look. So I think the community will create something and hopefully it'll give us some more legs to it as well.
Absolutely. Gears of War co-creator Cliff Bleszinski believes Gears of War needs a reboot similar to God of War. He has even volunteered his services to consult on such a project. At first, I was going to ignore this, but then we had a write-in, and I was like, okay, we'll talk about it. Max, the fifth string, writes in, Dukes, in a recent interview with Comic Book, Cliffy B stated that he thinks Gears of War could use a reboot and that he'd be happy to consult on it. In a world of remakes and reboots, it seems like they're just being thrown around now. Myself to blame for always wanting a Lost Planet reboot. I could get behind that as well, Max. While Gears of War is definitely an IP that warrants a lot of love and has a whole studio dedicated towards it, where do you feel a reboot is warranted versus a remaster? Gears Collection versus Gears of War, say, 2027. I turned on my headset for some PC Forza fun, but it turned on my Xbox on the other side of the room instead, kind of day.
Shout out to Max.
So, Cog, is it is it time for a reboot after Gears 6? Obviously the story's not done, so it's really weird that Cliff is saying this in the first place. I'm surprised it got any traction at all. But the talking point I'll go to that I think everyone's head went to is like, it's the same shit we've been saying for years. Where's the collection? Where's the Marcus Phoenix collection? The second that Halo Master Chief Collection showed any signs of doing well, whether it was, despite its failures at launch, if it was selling well, the next thing you greenlight is a remastered trilogy of the original 3 games on 360, or now you could put them all in a collection from Gears 1 through 5. Like, how this isn't a thing in existence, I sometimes wonder, because Microsoft is the biggest corporation in the world, lots of money to be made. Xbox is looking for wins where they can get them. This is an easy win, right? So with Gears Ultimate Edition existing, obviously the original Gears, Cog, do you think Gears of War will ever see some sort of reboot soon?
I don't know, man. I'm going to lean no. I know a lot of people are going to be upset with the decision, but look, I love Cliffy B. That's the OG right there, and he's been clamoring for a while to be like, hey, I want to get involved. I want to do something. And I gotta be honest, it don't seem like, people are receptive to wanting to do anything with the homie, which is weird to me. Obviously he feels very strongly about, the direction of where it is right now. He felt, the older Gears took more risks and had a little bit more heart to it. A lot of people agree with him. I did feel there was some safe things. And obviously, if those who ended Gears 5 know there's a major thing they're going to have to decide how it's going to go after that ending, right? The only thing with a reboot of Gears is like, we already had, the remastered joint, which was kind of like a remake on Xbox One already. I'm cool with a collection. If you want to do like the Marcus Phoenix story and the first 3 or whatever, I'm cool with that. But like, I don't think it's needed. And to be honest, I'm going to say something. I don't want it right now. I personally, what I'm saying? Finish the story, do what you're going to do. I still like what Coalition is at, but I don't reboot. I don't know. I just don't feel like it's this desperate thing. I rather Coalition make new IPs. I honestly would love to see Coalition. Remember the rumor before Gear 6, they were supposed to be making something else.
Yeah.
Because to me,
get canceled, right?
Yeah. Exactly. To me, Coalition represents high graphical fidelity from Xbox. They've been holding them down on their back, and I would love to see. They are capable of a Just One. That's a Just One studio. # Just One studio. So I would love just to see, hey, they're free from the Gears franchise just for one little break. You know what I mean? And just what happens? What happens? That's what I want.
I agree. The biggest critique I have of Coalition is really from a storytelling angle, in that from start to finish, they have yet to have like a really compelling story. Like Gears 5, first half of that game is some of the best Gears storytelling I've seen. Like, I really love how they pull a string in Gears 5 that goes back to, I think, like 2 or what. Like, it's fucking awesome what they did with the first half. The second half, I'm just like, what happened here? Like, what? It's not awful, but it feels so indecisive, and it definitely takes its foot off the gas. So I get where Cliffy B is coming from, but I want to see how they wrap it up, because I will say this. While I have my critiques of the game, I don't think any Gears game has been bad. And they've managed to transition developers.
Yes.
Which has been less elegant on the Halo side of things. So I don't think Gears really needs a reboot, because we haven't lost at least in my opinion, we haven't lost the focus.
I agree.
We have not lost the focus. Maybe we lost some of the grit or some of the heart, but I don't think the focus on the story has been lost.
I agree. And I want to give credit to, I thought Hivebusters was fantastic. I've
not played that, actually.
Oh, that is, bro. I was so mad at them that they didn't promote this better, because
that was like the big Series X launch thing. Yeah, I remember that.
Bro, I was like, remember what I tell people? People want to see this console pushing graphical fidelity. That was a showcase game, and I'm mad at them because it was, and they did different things. They got risky. They almost did like a class system for each different type of gear, and they had abilities. And I'm like, okay, let's lean into this. I'm hoping they take what they did with Hivebusters and apply that to the next joint with 6. Like, so there's potential there. I agree. I want the story to finish and see where they go with that before we start talking reboots and stuff.
Who knows when we see that too? They've like restructured a little bit. They've canceled projects. I feel like they're working on like they did the Unreal Engine 5 demo with the Matrix. Like they're always getting pulled away for something. I worry sometimes about their focus and when Gear 6 will even arrive. Like I thought it'd be here a little bit sooner, but I guess it's good there's anticipation, right? Like I am looking forward to seeing how they round things out.
No doubt.
A compact mode has been added to the Xbox PC app, currently only available for Xbox insiders, and it is designed to improve the handheld gaming experience on, say, your ROG Ally. So, Cog, I know you're an Xbox insider. Have you messed around with this at all, or at least seen the screenshots?
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. This is like, I know it's a baby step, but this is what we need, because the problem with these handhelds, especially the ROG, as much as I love it, it's a Windows 11 device through and through. It is not an official handheld with an official handheld mode with visibilities and functionalities. This is what we need to see. They did say they were going to do this when the Ally was announced. I was there when they had AMD's people and a Microsoft representative was there, and they said they're going to commit to it. So it looks like this is the start of that. Okay. And I want them to continue. But yes, this is a great start. Keep it up. And shout out to Ally. They've been really pumping up a lot of modes now. There's a 900p. They got all these different functionality now. I'm getting updates all the time on the My Asus app, as well as the Windows 11 library store. So yeah, this is good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah, that device is right behind me.
Oh, so good. Baby. I had quick story. When I was coming back from a flight on college wedding. So the stewardess, she's ready to give me my drink or whatever. She was like, "What's that?" So I was like, because I was out there Starfield. I was like, "Oh, this is the ROG." So she was like, "Well, I was thinking about getting the Switch." And I was like, "Well, if you're going to get it for a young person, yeah, get the Switch." I did say that, new Switch most likely is coming. She's like, "No, but that right there." Mm-hmm. She was like, I was like, "But this is like $677." She's like, "Yeah, I don't care. I want tell me the name again." I was like, "All right." She wrote the whole thing down.
She goes see that price tag and be like,
I told her the price tag, and she was about it. She did not flinch. I was like, okay, yeah. So I ROG, y'all owe me a sale. I need I got this thing sold. Because it's about 3 airplane trips where someone has stopped me. I had someone tap me from a back row. "Yo, what is that? That looks crazy." I was like, "Yo, it's that ROG Ally, fam. I'm playing." He's like, "You play Game Pass games natively with no Wi-Fi?" Yeah, we outside, baby. Anyway.
Lies of P received an update from game director and rookie of the year, Ji-Won Choi, who teased upcoming DLC for the game and concept art imagery that you can see online. Alongside that, he confirmed that an update is arriving this month to the game. It will bring significant changes to weapon and character balancing, as well as easing the difficulty in the early stages of the game. In turn, the team has decided to make the rising dodge ability a default skill. Originally, it was an unlock in the Quartz system. Players will also receive a new outfit based on the character Alidoro, alongside expanded customization by being able to equip glasses and hats separately. Lastly, and if you beat the game, you already know this next bit won't be much of a surprise, but NeoWiz confirmed they are working on a sequel for Lies of P now. Mr. Scott, if you're nasty, writes in, "Dukes, Lies of P developer NeoWiz just announced there will be DLC and there are plans for a sequel. This is excellent news, yes? This is my personal game of the year, but do you guys actually think it'll compete against the big guys?" Now, if we're talking, do you think, sorry, Mr. Scott, I don't mean to already pick apart your question, but do you think he's talking game of the year conversation? Or are we talking when the sequel comes around, can this actually compete?
I think he's talking about right now, game of the year. He said this is his personal game. You think it compete against the big guys, meaning everybody that's outside? The ball is game.
Mr. Scott, I think it's the game of the year, but I don't know if it competes against the big guys for the people who are voting.
Yeah,
because the people who are voting called it kind of, and it blows my mind. It really does blow my mind that there are a lot of them. It's like an 80 Metacritic. That's got to be, it's not a bad score, but that's got to be one of the biggest underscores of the year. 100%. In a year where we're just flicking out 9s, like it's no one's fucking business, and Lies of P is in the 80 range. That's fucking insane to me. That it's all coming down to one thing, that it copies too much and doesn't invent enough. And I'm like, did anyone play this game?
Oh, yeah, low. It's just 80.
Yeah, it's just an 80.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
You would look at that and go all right, it's got problems. And I genuinely mean it. When y'all heard me going week to week on this game, I went through the entire game and I had maybe a complaint. That's not going to be everyone's experience, but you know how nitpicky I can get, how critical I can get. The fact that I walked away, I was like, yeah, like the final dungeon wasn't that artistically inspired. Like, who gives a fuck? Like, come on. The fact that it's sitting that low is crazy to me. I don't, and I say all this to answer Mr. Scott's question, which is like, I don't think it will, because I don't think enough reviewers saw the true strengths of the game. I don't think I saw something creatively inspired. I saw something that was a team that played a lot of games, loved the games they played, and wanted to put them all into one and add their own mechanics on top of the weapon crafting system with altering handles, the quartz system. Like, this game has tons of new shit in it. The way you use your Legion arms, the puppet strings third upgrade is like a mechanic unto itself. Like, this game has so many layers. So to me, like, yeah, does it? 100%. I think it's the best game that's come out this year. But for the people voting, no, this isn't going to be on anyone's Game of the Year list. Definitely not. It might be on like best RPG of the year. It might be on like best action game. Like, it might be in those talks, those side things that Jeff announces while like during the piss breaks, pretty much. But I don't think this one is going to be, unfortunately, the Game of the Year conversation. I mean, we just got Alan Wake 2, which is another
people raving,
another 90 plus, and I got to download that one because I saw Rand's post online.
Rand going hard in the paint.
He said favorite game of the generation. I was like, okay, Rand. I was like, all right, I'll download it.
Hard. I had a conversation with that man. He was like, look, I already played the game of the year. I was like, yo, like that? He's like, it's like that. He said you could only nitpick one or two things as far as just slow build up for an action heavy kind of person. But once it gets going, he is going hard.
Yeah, I got to check it out. So, yeah, I just feel this year has delivered too many 90 plus critical darlings where Liza P, this kind of sneaky one can get in there. I don't think it's going to get the votes.
That's unfortunate, man, because I see you and a lot of my boys go hard for this game. And I didn't forget, I'm still going to play. Remember, I was traveling at weddings.
Wait for the update, Con.
Yeah, I can wait. That easy, boy. You're going to do the rising dodges and default.
Yeah,
let's go.
Rising dodge should have been an ability. We talked about that on the spoiler cast. That probably should have been a default ability. It wasn't the end of the world that it wasn't. You get it pretty early, but like now that it's there, like now when you get knocked on your back, you can just roll out easily, which is great for avoiding more damage. And then the balancing, they already made parts of the game easier. So I'm happy I got to play the game when it was tough, because I'm worried how like fucking neutered this thing is going to be, because they've already tweaked it. But this is why I'm telling people, I'm like, Liza P, pay attention. Like, they let you summon for every boss fight except the first one and the last one. So this might be one of the changes that makes it easier. They might just let you summon for the first fight and maybe the last fight instead.
Well, I'm actually going to play it now. Did they give a date or a time frame?
This month, so sometime in November.
Let's go.
Yeah, so I'll forward you the news when it's live.
Please,
I'm excited for you to give it a whirl.
I am,
because I think once I tell people you're going to get filtered by the first boss, but once you get past it, you keep going. You show it that you can do it. I'm curious how you take to it, Cog.
Yeah, fair enough. And I've never played a Bloodborne. I've never played none of that stuff. So
man,
there's a part of me
you're gonna learn.
Yeah, there's part of me that I want to know what's all this about. Why do the Souls community go so hard for this style? And I like the fact that it's not even a homage, but they got creative with it. It's basically what I'm feeling too about it.
That's the thing. I don't get why games nowadays get critiqued for like love letters to games that the creators have played. Especially when it's a genre. Like, I don't think it's copying FromSoft anywhere. It's like saying that we're copying Castlevania by making Metroidvania games. Like, it's like not. It's just like a genre now. Like, we're adding to the genre. Like, Liza P is an addition to the Soulsborne genre. So I don't know why it's always like it goes beyond FromSoft, and it has for a while. So I don't know why it's not. These games aren't even in general received that way. Same with Lords of the Fallen.
Yeah.
All right, we have some news coming out of Japan here. Cog, congrats, man. You might have been way onto something, completely on the nose here. Hideki Kamiya and Shinji Mikami are set to host a conversation about their careers to date and their future plans at Archipel Caravan, December 15th to the 17th, in a session titled Shinji Mikami x Hideki Kamiya. We did cover, when you posed the idea, Cog, of these two coming together, that Shinji Mikami was making his way back to game development. So, sir, I think maybe not the victory lap yet, but I mean, get the stretches in, right? Get the blood flowing, right? This a little bit. Get ready. Here we go. It's coming. So, Cock, how do we feel about this? What do we think the conversation is going to be about between these two gentlemen?
Listen, it says they said about future plans. What future plans could you two have together? What could that be? Look, Kamiya, he left Platinum, in my opinion, with a chip on his shoulder. When I saw those tweets, that man, it was like, oh, I'm going to show you kind of energy. If y'all going to think I'm going to take the fall for what's going on here or whatever the creative direction is, we know those two have a storied history. And then, I thought it was interesting when Kami kind of said, hey, remember the tweet? Like, got my creative juices back. Let me think about it. Look, man, one thing, this is, again, when we talk about the circle of life, there's a strong possibility, right? They announced a studio, or something like that. And look, these two are legends. Let's make no mistake about it. I'm very curious to see what happens with those two. And they have a lot of backing. So we will hope to see if they get more backing, I should say. But yeah, I'm curious. They're very creative. So Mikami, especially, I want to know what he's got in his mind, what he's got going. I think those two balance each other in a way. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Kamiya could be outside, but I think I think it's a good balance. I think it can work. Yeah.
That's what's going on there. Then we have, as spotted by IGN Japan, From Software is ramping up with tons of new job postings, and the studio is working on, quote, multiple new projects, end quote. So we already know that the Shadow of the Air, or I think it's Shadow of the Air tree. I don't remember the exact name of it, but the Elden Ring expansion is on the way. We just got Armored Core 6 a couple of months ago from Software, and they have multiple games in development. I am very keen to learn what they're doing next, because Elden Ring was that magnum opus. Like, it pulled from everything they ever made, and it was fantastic. So what do you do next is the question, because that was kind of, to me, the capper to a Dark Souls 4, if you would, right? And it feels like Dark Souls, I think they've even said before, they're kind of done with it. Bloodborne 2? Is it finally time?
I mean, one would hope. The damn community keep asking.
Be the answer. That's the other thing. Liza P, to my Bloodborne bros out there, is your answer right now.
Facts.
It is. It stands enough on its own, but if you like the vibe from the architectural and atmospherical standpoint of Bloodborne, you get a lot of that in Liza P.
Dope.
Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake have entered the production readiness stage now, and Remedy has expressed a lot of excitement around this. I'm very excited for this as well, man. I remember one of my first ever Xbox demos I played was the subway station level for Max Payne 1, and the opening, the voiceover. That game was like creepy in a weird way. That's what I love when I think back to the original Xbox. I think of that word, creepy. There was just some weird things, like the home menu was creepy and ominous. Like that was a weird system. I fucking love it. But Cog, after the success of Alan Wake 2, I don't know if you plan on playing it, but Max Payne 1 and 2 Remake are up next. How are we feeling about it?
Listen, these are OG classics. Like, this is super dope. Of course, I got to see what's going on. And then from what I hear, Alan Wake fans, people who haven't played it yet, from what I hear, you definitely want to tune in for if you like Max Payne. That's what I was told. So they are doing the vibe I'm getting is almost like a cinematic universe with all of their games. So yeah.
Wait, really?
In a way, with subtle callbacks, not necessarily, like a Spider-Man going home situation.
I'm gonna put respect on Sam Lake's name,
But yeah, that's another thing people are telling me, like, yo, if you've played their games, like, people are telling me it's making them now, after playing Alan Wake 2, it's making them want to play Control, Quantum Break, Max Payne, because they're just doing these beautiful nuance.
I loved Quantum Break. I'm ashamed to say that was the last Remedy game I played, but like that is a underrated Xbox exclusive.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Let's talk about Capcom a little bit here. In Capcom's latest financial results, it's now revealed they got a significant increase in digital license revenue due to their licensing revenue from providing Exoprimal to Game Pass. As highlighted by TechRaptor, Capcom's increase in digital licensing revenue jumped from 2.2 billion yen to 3.7 billion yen, roughly 14.7 million to 24.7 million US dollars year on year in the first half of the fiscal year. Meanwhile, Capcom has also announced, or has a unannounced major title releasing before March 2024. And one thing worth keeping in mind with that is next year is the 20th anniversary for the Monster Hunter series. So, Cog, got some Game Pass rub here. And we already know that Exoprimal, while it was definitely one of the lower rated Capcom games, is not a failure. And then we have an unannounced major title releasing before March 2024. So any thoughts on the Game Pass deal here? Any thoughts on what that unannounced game may be? Resident Evil 9, maybe? What are we thinking?
That's a good one. What could it be? There's still a part of me that wants, I know nobody wants, but I want a Code Veronica. That was one of the
I've not played that one. I've heard anything, so.
It was an underrated gem for a Dreamcast. I am surprised by the Exoprimal success, to be honest. I wasn't sure because I looked at it as like that new IP that most will take the Game Pass bag because you're hedging your bet, right? You don't know if this going to hit. All right, I'll take a bag for this. But to see them talking about this success, this financial success as a result of it, very positive stuff. And I just like Capcom doing well overall. Like they're one of the OGs. They have great IPs. And this is
player
dope.
count on Steam sucks. I will throw that out there.
I would imagine it's definitely fallen off by now. You know what I'm saying?
50 players in the last 3 minutes, 24 hours, 91. So not too hot there.
I haven't seen Exoprimal on any top anything list.
It was a nice
Xbox.
wave. It was a
wave for a minute, you know what I mean? But the fact that they got that's why I'm surprised at any positive financial success, in reference to it. So it goes to show you what would it have been without it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Skull and Bones will arrive between January and March of next year. Very curious how that one goes. And then Ubisoft has also revealed in a financial report that it delayed a large-scale game. Quote, the company has decided to launch this other game in fiscal year 2024-25 so as to maximize its value creation, end quote, which I am assuming, and this is the public assumption, Star Wars Outlaws.
Okay.
I would imagine it's that, which I'll talk more about my enthusiasm for that when I talk about what we're playing. But any thoughts on this news here out of Ubisoft? Skull and Bones looks to finally be arriving early next year.
Yeah, I'll let y'all tell me how that goes.
Star Wars Outlaws. So fire away. What do you want to talk about with this one?
Yeah, nothing looking for me for Skull and Bones. I am not diving there. So
you don't want to, row your boat and play Assassin's Creed 3? Pretty much.
Assassin's Creed 3, the remix. Yeah. Nah, I'm good. But y'all will tell me how that goes. As far as
relay the word.
As far as the delay, I'm curious if it is the Star Wars game or hopefully it's not Assassin's Creed Red. Like that. You know what I mean? But we'll see. But not too much on the Ubisoft side for me.
Very excited for Star Wars Outlaws.
Yes, that looks good.
Last bit here for my Mass Effect fans. Humanoid Studios, led by Casey Hudson, who's best known for his work on Mass Effect as well as Knights of the Old Republic, that golden age of BioWare, has renamed their studio to Humanoid Origin. They also have a lot of new concept art on their website that gives off heavy Mass Effect vibes, and they announced they are developing a multi-platform, narrative-driven AAA video game. So, Mass Effect competitor in the midst here with one of its original creators. I am very excited at the potential here. This sounds great to me. So, Cog, what do you make? You sent this news my way. I was very pleased to find it. So, Humanoid Origin. What do we think?
New name, new studio. Listen, man, I like it. The OGs said, we're going to have to do this ourselves, y'all. We're going to clearly what's going on over there. We're going to create our own studio. And again, the circle of life, like I said, right? People talk consolidation, but we also have to talk about new studios. And look, Casey Hudson, let's shout him out. Do you remember the old footage of when you used to talk about KOTOR and Mass Effect? Best mullet in the game. Did you remember when the mullet used to come outside?
Yeah.
But shout out Canada in the building. I got so much. He's a bucket list interview for me. I would love
so much experience.
Yeah, I would love to pick the brain and just the things that they were doing was so ahead of its time. So look, looks like he got the talent, the people. I like narrative-driven AAA experiences in a sci-fi universe. Sounds like a card game to me. Humanoid Origin, let's go. I'm down. Let me find the Twitter page of the studio. Let me make sure I'm got the notifications on.
Drew Karpyshyn is working at, I think he was the writer during that time at BioWare.
I think he's at Archetype, right? Or something else?
Yeah, so they've all kind of split off to different areas now. He joined in February 2020 at Archetype Entertainment, an internal studio of Wizards of the Coast, with former BioWare staff James Olin, who was also a big part of that era of BioWare, and Chad Robertson as studio leads.
Yes.
They're working also on a science fiction role-playing game.
Like I said, circle of life, man.
BioWare, be careful.
Be careful. Bro, they gonna do it their way. We gonna do what we want to do.
I'm very keen to see all these Mass Effect competitors come out and see how they separate themselves mostly. That's the big thing.
One thing though, Drew's writing is whew. I'm not saying Case
not save Anthem though. That's the one game that like when he was announced, like I remember before Anthem came out, I made a video. It was pretty scathing. I was like, this game is not going to be good. And people were like, what are you talking about? One of the main points was like Drew Karpyshyn's back. I was like, yeah, but look at the game, guys. And yeah, man, like it's surprising that his name was on that. I'd be curious to know what level of involvement he had in that game.
I'm curious.
I've tried to communicate with him for an interview multiple times, but he's like, they've said that their heads down at Archetype. Like they're just keeping quiet. They don't want to talk about anything right now at all. Not bring any attention to anyone on the team. Just, I guess they're all in on whatever this game is. So they seem pretty excited by it.
And the only thing I'll in his defense, you know, when we saw the exposés that Schreier did, like that whole situation was a mess. Yeah. From a management standpoint, from teams not knowing what was going on and updates. And so maybe that's why I got caught up in the struggle, and maybe they didn't know what division. Yeah, because the vision changed so many times as far as, we're going to fly. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. Yeah. So we're going to give my man a pass on that. But thank you for telling me. I didn't realize my man was on that one.
He was.
Shout out to Drew and the team. Shout out to Casey and their team. But I think both teams will come up with some cool stuff I'm excited about.
That's it for the news for now, Cog. Let's talk about what games we're playing here. I want to hear from you first. Looks like you're dressed for the occasion, so to say. So let's hear about it.
What I've come to realize as you older, like we all got those favorites. And I realized it during Spider-Man 2's launch. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, yo, Spider-Man 2, I've been waiting so long. Let's go, Miles Morales. And that game's fire. But it just happened to drop right around the Tekken 8 closed network beta. Yep. And I'm like, all right, Carl, just play it for a little bit, get your joint. And once I fire up Tekken, there is an addiction. There is I can't explain. I guess it's a person who loves the purity of martial arts, and I feel they represent it the best, but also have a flashy little anime side to it and a story. So I've been following Tekken 8 updates religiously. They just announced 4 new characters today. This week, they got Devil Jin is back, which is very surprising.
Okay.
Right? Because if you play Tekken 8 with Jin, he transforms between. So narratively, it's showing that he has control of the Devil Gene and can morph back and forth. He has Devil Jin moves, and he shoots lightning bolts, and he turns into Devil with his rage art. So you're like, when I saw him, I'm like, But then they show this crazy cinematic. So I don't know if it's a fight for his soul, narratively, where they're going, and that Devil Jin is now a split-off entity. But it's getting deep, y'all, because this thing looks so demonic and crazy. I ain't even going to front. So you got that. We got my man Lee Chaolan is back. I'm a big Lee Chaolan fan. Don't like his outfit though. I don't know how I'm feeling about this outfit. It's not a good look. Kind of gives me Paul vibe. I didn't like Paul's outfit. It's only like all the Tekken remakes so far. The drips and the glow ups are on fire. But I gotta come at Lee Chaolan's suit. Steve Fox looked like he had a little too much cookies or something. I don't know what's going on with his face, his cheekbones. He got that Bob energy right now. We got to get him to cut back. And he got this weird choker, which I don't know about. Alicia is back. She's the little girl robot. She looks dope. Zafina, I believe, I forgot her race, maybe Indian style arts. Dragunov, which is the Russian Sambo, was announced.
Oh my God, that dude's filthy. He's back?
He's back. So apparently tomorrow, I'm recording now on the 1st, but tomorrow there will be another reveal. So they announced like 4 or 5 characters right now. And I will show you this link. Yo, bro. So I have been in such a dojo mode because this is what's happening. The homies, we've been getting together, fighting, we're doing our little self-tournaments. And how we do it, Maddie, is we claim characters. So like we got a home like who you running with? Everybody knows Rang is your main. This one's your main. But then you got to have your number 2, your number 3. So we do it like that's like your right hand man. So right now that I know Lee Chiao-Lan is back, that was one of my OG characters. He's in my roster. So I got to go pick up Tekken 7. Got to get in the field. Okay, what are you used to? I know they're going to change a lot. Same thing. And I have to admit, this year, bro, martial law is the essence of Bruce Lee in Tekken 8. Bro, it is so Bruce Lee that I'm like, yeah, I have to. As a fan of martial arts, I have to do it. So I think I got my 3 right now. My man, I said, I'll give up Lars to the homies only if they run with him number 1. I ain't giving up Lars if you're going to have him as some number 2, some flunky. So like we're doing trades and we're doing acquisitions. That's how me and my Tekken homies do it. This is a culture. And then we get there,
respect.
And then we fight it out. And it's the matchups, you know what I'm saying? So I love this game, bro. I love this game. So I just been nonstop Tekken all day, Tekken practice, doing my combos, learning the rage, learning all the new things that they added to the game. And then, we're supposed to get some more characters. Again, 1 November 1st, which is tomorrow. November 2nd, which is tomorrow. And then there's one more reveal. And I think that will finalize the roster.
So like 30 plus characters.
Yeah, we're talking about like 30 plus characters. And then I'm ready. So it's just been... I've been nothing but Tekken 7, bro. I've been in the dojo hard, and I'm getting ready. So, yeah, that's been pretty much it for me, minus one other thing that I will talk about later on. So I haven't played something else, but I'm saving that for later, as you know. What about you, sir?
I am working on the Spider-Man 2 Platinum. I'm probably going to get it tonight, and I'm a little sad, I don't like how critical I have been of this game because I don't want to be feeling this way. The Spider-Man, for those who don't know, the first Spider-Man from Insomniac is like my probably favorite ever PlayStation exclusive. Like literally of anything they've made. I just
King
think
is
that
the same
game
way.
is
Yeah, King has it just
so good. Maybe not historically. Like I love Sly Cooper. Maybe people know like Sly 2 is one of my favorite games, top 5. But Spider-Man on PS4, it's a special video game. Like especially story, but also that feeling of finally getting so many things I've been begging for in my entire life. Like I love a lot of Spider-Man games, but it felt like Insomniac got it. And so I've been going through this Platinum. I finished the main story, as people already know. I gave my thoughts on that last week, which I liked, but I was definitely critical of the pacing and how things were handled. The side content, though, it goes back to this piece of criticism I had about Spider-Man 2, which is this game. What I love about the first one is it's a video game and it tells its story like a video game, which is personable, interactive. You get to see, not hear, right? Like that's where the best stories are done because video games are great since they're interactive mediums. Spider-Man 2, and I'm not going to spoil, but Spider-Man 2's quest lines, I'll just say the Flame. I'll say, in my opinion, I think the Sandman one, the Marco's Memories. And there's one other I'm thinking of that I did last night as well that I'll think of while I'm going through here. But there's a good chunk of them that fall into that MCU pit of teasing instead of just finishing the story. And so a lot of Spider-Man 2, like I talked about this a bit, Spider-Man 2 does feel like it was subjected to like rewrites and rushed parts of development. I mean, I'm not even talking about the quality of the release, which I know is a little buggy. I think some people have oversold how buggy it is. It's really not that bad at all. The worst I got was a cube, which is hilarious, and they've already fixed that. Apparently, it's come back though. I've seen some people posting their cubes online. There was
a patch recently, like.
Yeah, there was a patch and that got rid of it. Apparently, it was tied to like long play sessions. It makes sense, right? When I was playing it over the weekend, like I played for like 5-6 hours straight. So, and that's when I did get it after I beat the game, which is hilarious, right? Like that's a hell of a way to end the game, being a cube and seeing the final cutscene.
Oh man,
but these stories and these side missions feel so unsatisfying on a narrative level because they're all incomplete. So many of them, Cog, are like, see you next time to figure out what happens next. And I'm like, y'all, this is a fucking game. This isn't a show where I get my answer next year in a season. This isn't a fucking comic book where I get my answer next week in the next issue. This is a video game. I was sick to my stomach with how many storylines I was finishing up, and they're like, that's all for now.
Tune in next week.
So many of them end with, Peter, this might take months to figure out, years. I'm like, y'all, okay, yeah, we'll see you in 5 years for Spider-Man 3. Got it. And some of the shit they're setting up, I'm like, why aren't they going to be deserving their own game? Because one thing Insomniac proved with the first game was they could make gold out of villains you never suspect. And I'd even say with Kraven, they did it in the second game. But the first one with Mr. Negative, they showed right there, like, yo, we can take the guy you barely even knew, even the biggest of comic book junkies, like this side dude, and make him the whole main show, right? Like they did amazing work with him. And it's because you got to see the complete story. And I know that's the main arc of Spider-Man 1, but when you look at the side content in 2, I think even the biggest defender cannot help but look at the stories and how they don't wrap up. They don't. And I don't know if they're DLC baiting. Like people have found Easter eggs in the world where the Hand is in New York City. Nelson and Murdoch, which was there in the first game as an Easter egg, gone now.
And did you see the joint where something came out where for PS, the forum, they were something, or somebody almost was going to do a Daredevil game with Sony or something like that?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'll try to get you the link, but keep talking.
Okay. So yeah, like I feel like this is all setting up a ton of DLC. And at worst, the third game. And it just, I'm like enjoying playing it. I love being Spider-Man. The web swinging feels so good in this game. And the combat is excellent. But the narrative gripes I have are so strong because they're not bad stories. Like the Flame, there's a cutscene where I like, heart was in my throat. I was like, yo, what's going to happen here? Like, this is a threat to Spider-Man. And it ends and they're like, it's going to take months, years to track that down. I'm like, are you fucking... I was mad. I was like, are you serious? That's how you're going to end it? I was mad. And I guess some people will say in counter that it's better you want more. No, I just want a finished story. Then I can say that was good or bad. That's what I want. So,
fair enough.
Yeah, man. I really do like the game. I'm going to finish the platinum, but I don't know if when I make my game of the year list, I don't know if this is going to be in my top 10.
Wow.
I just really have too many problems with it. We'll see once it all shakes out. I got to look at the games I beat this year, which is about like 35 right now or something like that. So it's a pretty stacked list, and obviously the year has been stacked, but yeah, Spider-Man 2 just has been grinding the right gears for me, where it's like, I've already talked in my review about the AAA-ness of it in the sense of like fixing the camera. It's like, you go this way, and you press 2 buttons, and like, okay, now you go this way. It's like, right, a lot of that. So it's just, I'm sad I'm struggling with the game to love it as unapologetically as I did with the first one. Because they've handled a lot of things better with Spider-Man 2. Like if I went back to when I go back to the first one, I hate how they did the open world now, like with the fucking Ubisoft towers and everything. It worked. They were at the tail end of that being acceptable.
Yes.
And I would argue that they got away with it because they did so many new things. I was like, all right, it's fine. But in Spider-Man 2, like you kind of just find the objectives and they're just there. That part, and it's awesome because it just lets you swing around. You get to see the locales. It forces you to look at the world, not the map. So yeah, like they get a lot of stuff right. Just they also get like a surprising amount wrong, I feel, with this one. But it has not taken away from my excitement of Wolverine. That is, I find that to be a tough one for them to fail on because that game, they get an M-rated Wolverine game.
Yeah, just don't get a great
budget on the market.
Oh, golden,
dude. I played so many X-Men game growing up. Especially X-Men Origins Wolverine on 360, where you can stab a dude, pull him out of a helicopter, and put his head in the chopper blades. Like Insomniac's going to do amazing stuff with that. I can't wait. And they've actually confirmed that Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine are in the same universe.
Yes.
So we'll see. As I drop my clip here, we'll see what they do with that. The other thing I've been, I'll put in quotes, been playing or played. I went to, and by went to, I meant I sat here in this chair and attended a digital preview event for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Yeah, which has been, I haven't done a preview in a hot minute. So I was very keen to check this one out because I thought the trailers for it looked good. Fozzie Bear has a write in here. Hey, Duke Buds, Maddie's preview solidified my hype for Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, but admittedly, I have a case of preview PTSD from games like Redfall previewing but flopping with the final product. In your collective experience, how does a preview, line up with the quality of the final game? In other words, if a game previews well, Does a good game usually follow? Does a bad preview lead to a bad game? I see you, Fozzie. Thank you, Fozzie. We see you as well. So yeah, I enjoyed my time with Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I think to answer your question, Fozzie, it's just about like how clairvoyant you can get from that taste test.
Mm-hmm.
So the experience I had with Avatar Frontiers of Pandora was a little broken up in that you would play a section, you could go off and explore it how you wanted to. You would play a section, and then when you finish the quest, like a text box would pop up saying, so and so happened in the meantime, and now you're here. And then it would load in, and you'd be a little bit further ahead to kind of keep the pacing. But it wasn't easy to get a narrative grip on what was happening beyond like humans versus the Na'vi. And I don't know why, I can only assume, but it's, there wasn't much narrative grounding there yet. What I did play, though, was very much like Far Cry, with the evolution of more, I'd say, verticality. You'd get your Ikron and you'd be able to fly up. And I mean, up. And there is so much to this world, so many places to land and explore. There are activities that are in the sky. So as you're flying around, you can like take out your weapon and like shoot down towers and stuff. I mean, it's really cool. That's where the game feels great.
Graphically, how's it looking?
Oh, it looks amazing.
Okay.
It looks amazing. I was doing it on digital preview. Like I was playing it through a streaming service that Ubisoft provided in their own launcher. And the fact that I thought it looked good through that, where naturally there's going to be a little bit of a drop off of fidelity, is saying something. Because I mean, I think the biggest thing that it does right is vibrancy, right? Like when you watch the movies from James Cameron, like very rich, colorful worlds splashed everywhere.
Yes.
And they get that here. I mean, the draw distance is insane. Like when you have to go and get your Ikron and you're like climbing up and up and up, there's a lot of like moments where you just see an insane open world. But it's very much designed, like think of Far Cry Primal, which is a game that me and Carrick used to always go back and forth on whether it was good or not. Carrick loves it. I'm not crazy about it, but it reminds me a lot of Far Cry Primal in that you'll be on foot a lot, just like picking up all sorts of resources. There's this little, I put it in quotes, mini game where you'll find like a fruit and you have to angle your analog sticks properly to like pull the fruit off of its roots. And, it's like kind of satisfying. It's really strange, but otherwise, it really is Far Cry, and I don't think that's a bad thing because I've called for Far Cry to change things up quite a bit. And I've been very critical of, I think Far Cry 6 was not good at all. I thought Far Cry 5 had a really awesome narrative, but the gameplay was still very much the same there. And I was very critical of the cutscene style. I feel like Avatar is a really good answer to some of my personal issues with the series in the way like scenes are shot, in the way the world is explored. I didn't get to see much side content. And the one thing I'll say, Fozzie, about should you be wary, if you watch my preview, you'll know I said that Ubisoft let us capture all our own footage. Like everything people saw in that video was my own gameplay. But there was so much, like when I went to the embargo information, because I'll edit the video as I want it, and then I will check what they want removed. And I checked and I'm like, oh, no NPCs. Oh, no menus. No quests, no skills, no this, no that. I'm just like, what the fuck? Okay.
All right. Under wraps.
So then you go back in, you pluck pieces out, replace the gameplay, add audio. You're like, I can't show this, but, and try to explain it with your words more. So Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, I think that would be the biggest red flag, that Ubisoft wasn't letting us show menus, wasn't letting us show you the game map, wasn't letting us show you NPC conversations. And I'll be forgiving on the menus because to me, I think that usually suggests that UI could be one of the last things to change in game development because like you have the hooks made and then you can just change out those pieces whenever you want. So I'm under the impression that maybe that's why, like, oh, this isn't final, like we're going to change this. So maybe that's it. But yeah, they were a little cagey with what could be shown in the terms of the back end stuff. But the game running, you could show the quests you were playing, you could show the side quests that were available. But it seemed like, unlike previous previews I had done with Ubisoft games, the only other red flag, I'll put that one in quotes, would be that it was a very specifically tailored preview build, where a lot of previews I've done recently, have been like, here's the game. You play up to this section and then we'll end the section for you. Right. Like you just like PAX, right? The game keeps running after you finish that. You don't see like a text box somewhere like, thanks for playing. We hope you enjoyed. Like where it's clearly specifically tailored for the press. It's just like, here's a vertical slice of the game. Those I usually have more faith in because it just means like, here's the game running as it is. And, you know, we just haven't put like an endpoint.
I get where you're going.
As it should be. We just defined a starting point, which is a lot different. So this one was a little more defined. So I wonder what that also means if they want us to only show and see specific things.
Right. So it's like place you here, then stop for a little bit, then they place you somewhere else.
Yeah.
That kind of energy, as opposed to the continuous extensive demo.
Yeah.
And then you start the finish to it, and then that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Otherwise, though, what I played was fun. I mean, there was some good stealth missions there where, you know, I was crawling around an oil rig. And the way they play with scale in the game, because the Na'vi are huge, right? So, like, the humans are these little pea-sized figures that I'm just like, pop, shoot them with a bow and arrow, and they just drop, like, with such force, because you can just feel like, I'm way bigger than them. Whereas the things that are your size are these mechs, right? These big machines that are kind of the main combative force to you. But you'll sneak around these oil rigs. You'll be, like, flipping switches to shut off parts of the location. You have, like, a hacking gun you can use to take over turrets, to take over the mechs, and like have them fight for you or deactivate them, open up weak spots to like shoot those points and have them blow up and go away. And so again, a lot of Far Cry energy, but enough new wrinkles for me as someone who's been really critical of recent entries where I found myself enjoying it. I walked away. I was like, okay, like, is it my most hyped game of the year? No, but like, did I like it? Yeah, definitely. So keep an eye out for that one. December 7th is when it comes out, like the last main game of the year, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora.
Cool.
We have one warm-up question, and then we'll get into the rest of the news here. Blee Flu Flaw writes in, hey, boys, hope you're feeling well and spry today. Since Call of Duty is now a Microsoft property, do you feel a certain obligation to play it on release? I don't know. Are my dogs coming through right now? You hear
now? I hear. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wow, they are losing their mind. I know you're both shooter fans, but when was the last time you sat down and played through a COD campaign? Appreciate your hard work. And speaking of hard work, how much money would you need to get paid to get a nipple pierce? Just one, not both. Take care. Cog, are you rocking a nipple piercing?
There's no nipple piercings here, man.
Yeah,
my pepperonis is free.
Yeah, okay. My pepperonis are pure
pepperonis.
I barely grow chest hair, man. I can't be out here. I can't be out here throwing little piercings on my nipples. That's
salute to those that can do it. I just, it freaks. You know what it is? I always think the worst of what could happen if someone has it. Like that's not the way my
rip it off.
Woo! That's where my mind goes. I always think
that
the
when
worst.
I see women with the big hoops.
The big hoop, right? You go, yo, what happened if somebody just or it got caught up? Like for me, the way my mind works, I could never do something like that. So yeah, the money, my fee is astronomical. Like you have to set me away for life. Like that's the only way we discussing that. So yeah, that's it.
But Cog, do you feel an obligation now with Call of Duty and the Xbox family? Do you feel an obligation to start firing it up year in year out when it's there on Game Pass?
I mean, free 99 changes a lot of things. Look, I used to be a Call of Duty guy. I used to be that guy. I used to be the prestige guy and doing all that stuff. And you know, the campaign, it was like a tradition. You do the campaign first. The dudes would cheat. They go run in the multiplayer first so they could be leveled up, get all the hot skins and the FAMAS and all the hot guns
first.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So like, I haven't played it so long. It's been, man, I haven't probably played since like Black Ops 3. Like I've really.
Wow, you took a big break.
Yeah, I was just like, I can't keep up with it. And then it became, what is it, the yearly cycle. It started to get redundant. Yeah. But again, if you're playing with a good group and the homies, yeah, I can see myself playing it. So now that it's in Game Pass, of course I'm going to see what's going on. You know what I mean? I will say this though, the only thing that I did try between that gap was Warzone, and I did enjoy. I was like, okay, this is not that bad, because I looked at what PUBG was supposed to do, and I'm like, see, you're the graphical thing, and I like the goulash thing or whatever it was called. You lose, you can come back, you fight your way out. I thought that was cool. So yeah, in Game Pass, I'll definitely give it a shot on release. At least the campaigns, you know, just to see how it is, and then shoot up with the little kids, the young kids for a little bit, realize I don't got the Twitch skill.
Christmas noobs.
Yeah, and then promptly get my old self off the court. What about you? You gonna fire it up?
I don't know. Maybe the campaigns. Maybe because I really liked I play Call of Duty games by the developer. Like Sledgehammer games, I almost strictly skip because they have made every fucking whack COD in my opinion.
Which ones they made? I'm trying to remember.
They made like they started off with MW3. And I think that game is just so bad. They did Advanced Warfare. I think that game is the worst COD.
Yeah,
they have, to me, anything bad about Call of Duty, Sledgehammer has touched. Like if there's one company that Xbox is inheriting that I'm not too pleased about, it's Sledgehammer. I don't like that they're getting more resources. We need to cut them down. Yeah, but
so what's your ranking then? Where do you?
Treyarch is my favorite.
So you Treyarch, and then
anytime Treyarch is up. So I play COD like every 3 years. I was in particular really excited about Black Ops Cold War because Raven was handling the campaign, and I was not disappointed because Black Ops Cold War's campaign is so good. I love that. So when a Call of Duty campaign comes around and it's good, like I'm there. I'm there. I just don't think it's been good consistently. Although I've heard good things about the new Modern Warfare games.
Yeah.
So I do need, that's where Game Pass would come in. But for like the annual Call of Duty, I will say I am interested to see what people say about the campaign for MW3 because it reminded me a lot of Halo Infinite's approach, like open kind of mission approach. And I love that about Halo Infinite. That was like my favorite part of that game. So if more shooters are taken from that and Call of Duty, which has a massive budget, is doing that, I'm keen to see what it is. But you know what it is, man? It's just certain things that were pure have just put a shitty taste in my mouth. Like
that's fair.
MW3, speaking of which, their approach to zombies, I'm like, what has this become? I implore people who were like me. You grew up like zombies was this like World at War side mode when it was called Nazi zombies back then.
Yes.
Like it was just this side mode. Like let's try it, right? And it ends up being this phenomenon. They do the DLC, right? Ending with Der Rise, right, where you get the pack-a-punch, like everything you knew about zombies was just gradually iterated upon in some of the best DLC ever in games.
Facts.
Right? And you look at how they evolved a little bit in Black Ops, right? Black Ops 2, like some of the best zombies, like they had something there. You look at it now and like, it's too much of a good thing, but now it's not even good. I look at that mode, it's this open world, arcadey bullshit.
Yeah, you know, found that.
We've lost the plot. We've lost the plot. And that's the thing about Call of Duty is it can't just be a special one-off. It's like the second they got something, like, all right, let's make modes. Let's make lots of modes. Let's iterate. Let's get a whole zombies team now. Like, let's do crazy shit. Like, zombies used to be about the Easter eggs, like the hidden narrative there that was cleverly injected. And now it's like the story of zombies. I'm like,
too much.
You guys just don't fucking get it anymore. You don't get it. So that's why it's like, I don't feel the obligation, you know, if at least one of us on the show is doing it, that's great. Yeah. We're doing our job then. And if COG is like, yo, free 99, sign me up. For me, it's like, I'll be there every Treyarch game. I might tap in for an Infinity Ward game, but otherwise, like, not really sprinting there unless it looks different.
All right, but this is where we get you to. What about your classics when they come back into Game Pass? The joints where zombies was pure.
Oh, you're talking about like back compat.
Yeah, when they throw them bad boys in there. When the
servers were live with MW2, like where we found out Xbox fixed those, they fixed the Black Ops 1 servers and everything. Yeah, dude, I downloaded all those games. They're still on my hard drive. So
you already had them already.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was. I don't think a lot of people know. I was a COD fiend. Like I was on the track to like going into esports, like 100% with how much COD I played competitively, especially like I was definitely on that track. But I got tired of it. I was like, I played it every year from like when I was 13 to 18 constantly. And just eventually I just snapped. I was like, this shit sucks. I was like, this is the same shit every year. Yeah. And that's why I sympathize for like the Madden bros, the NBA bro, who just every year is just like picking it up. And they're like, it's going to be different this time.
Yeah,
like, I was a part of that cycle every year. Like you're popping the collar, new flannel design. You're coming in. You're like, it's going to be different this year. I'll always remember there was midnight release, Black Ops 1. my friend Noah and I, a couple of my school buddies came out. We all picked it up. It was like so exciting, right? Because like, you know, when you're younger and going to a midnight release, like you had to organize rides, the meetups. When one of the homies pulls up, it's like this hype, like, yo, there he is. Like, and get online with us. Like, so exciting. So one of my favorite midnight releases, but I'll always remember this line Noah said on the exit that has been the poorest aging line of all time, right? And Black Ops 1 is probably my favorite.
I love it.
He was like, this is it. This is the COD that's going to change it all. He was so excited, right? And I think back to that. We joke about it all the time. I think back to that line. I'm like, that has never been so inaccurate as it is now. That COD changed nothing. These CODs are not changing shit. They haven't changed shit. Like, it's unbelievable. Anyway, I'm getting on a rant now. I'm sorry, B-Flu-Fla. But yeah, I don't feel obligated to play. I've been hurt enough. But I'm glad Xbox is getting their paycheck because we already know that's what they got it for. All right, Cog, time for some news here.
Sure.
Our number one news item I'm very excited to get your thoughts on. Xbox is reorganizing its leadership structure following the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, The Verge reports. This could also, for some, create some sense behind Pete Hines' exit from ZeniMax. Microsoft is promoting Matt Booty to president of game content and studios, including the new responsibility of ZeniMax, and Sarah Bond is being elevated to Xbox president, overseeing all Xbox platform and hardware work. On the marketing side, Chief Marketing Officer Chris Capicella is stepping down after 32 years at Microsoft. Phil writes, quote, great games are fundamental to everything we do. We believe that an expanded gaming content organization, one that enables Xbox Game Studios and ZeniMax's development studios to collaborate effectively together, will empower those world-class studios to do their best work in growing our portfolio of games players love, end quote. Replacing Chris Capicella is Takeshi Nomoto. Quote, Takeshi, this is from a memo from Phil Spencer, has been at the heart of our cloud transformation, end quote, says Satya Nadella, actually, not Phil, I apologize. The article notes that the following shift in marketing as well. Quote, Microsoft is moving into its consumer sales organization to the Microsoft gaming team. Led by Amy Silverman, this is the team responsible for Microsoft's consumer retail work, end quote. Amy's charter crosses all consumer products, including devices and creativity like Windows, Surface, M365, and all things gaming, explains Spencer. Quote, this team's focus will be to transform the gaming sales motions and attract new audiences across geographic markets, end quote. JT has toast, writes in. Hey, Dukes, longtime listener, first time write-in. Thank you, JT, for joining us. Since the ZeniMax and Bethesda acquisition, I always thought that Microsoft would let Bethesda and ZeniMax run themselves, and Microsoft would sit back and reap the benefits of the merger. But after a reorganization, ZeniMax and Bethesda report to Matt Booty. I have many questions, but at the top are, how much did the flop of Redfall impact this decision? Does Microsoft feel the pressure to reorganize if Redfall does not do the major damage to the Xbox brand? Lastly, in your opinions, what are the potential pros and cons for ZeniMax and Bethesda being closer to Microsoft's other studios and being under the supervision of Matt Booty? Thanks, and have a Elder Scrolls 6 is certainly releasing in 2021 because it would have been 10 years since Skyrim. Kind of day. Thank you, JT, for writing in. And again, thank you for joining up on Patreon. All right, Cog.
Yo.
Big overall here that Xbox effectively confirmed because, Sarah Bond was like sending her thanks out to the Xbox community who was showering her with praise, rightfully so. We have Sarah Bond as Xbox president. That's one step closer to head of Xbox Gaming or Microsoft Gaming, sorry. And then we have the big talking point, really, Matt Booty overseeing both Xbox Game Studios and ZeniMax and Bethesda. So what do you make of this, dude? Do you think this is a great change for Xbox? And of course, to what JT wrote, how much of this was due to Redfall?
Interesting. I like JT's questions. Yeah, this is a big reorg. I think this was something that they definitely had in mind once the ABK thing was finalized. How are they going to move forward? How's ABK going to operate? You saw Bobby's name on that list as well as far as the structure. But in my opinion, he's probably, going to just see through the transition and then they'll get someone for that role. But Sarah, first being the console president, from my understanding, that's the Xbox business, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily console president, you know what I mean? So I think she's done a lot as far as bringing game content. And then obviously we've seen her work in Japan. We've seen her work as far as like in the trial itself. during the ABK, like she's very pivotal in that. So that makes sense. But to me, the Matt Booty thing was the significant thing because prior to it, we did hear, ZeniMax operates in a silo in a sense, they're independent. But no, the head of ZeniMax, I forgot the gentleman's name, now reports to Booty.
Jamie Letter.
Yes, Letter. There we go. And I think it's a good thing. I do think, to JT has a toast point, Redfall has some influence on that, because part of the decision was, part of the criticism was like, how do you not know that game is in that state? Or how do you not know, like your internals said that it was, whatever the meta was going to be, and then we saw the product that we got, right? Mm-hmm. So to me, it makes sense. This is not, in my opinion, meddling, so to speak. It's more like, hey, we need to oversee what you did after, you're ready to submit the whole work, so to speak. Yeah. I have no problem with that. I've heard good things about Matt Booty. I've got a chance to meet him. He doesn't like necessarily being public facing. That's not really his thing. He's like, I'm busy. I'm doing my thing. But the things I was speaking to him about studio management and stuff like that, he takes a lot of pride. This is a guy who comes from the Midway days, from back in the day. He has storied history. Everyone I speak to about him has high praise. So to me, the jury is still out on him, though, as far as like, I look at the draft picks of 2018. To me, the key is Hellblade 2 Fire, right? This is part of your draft picks, you know what I'm saying, so to speak. Is Avowed fire? Is Fable fire? To me, the two...
Midnight,
yeah, like all of these games that we're seeing, like, are these going to be good games that you're overseeing? I feel very strong about Fable, especially the things he was saying. But I think his hardest ones that he's really going to be judged is like Initiative. Because we saw the turnover, we saw the turmoil, what's happening, Crystal Dynamics is in. Is that stable? What does that finished product look like? That's under your regime, right? And then what was the other one? To me, the one that no one's talking about, and I don't want to go hard as far as mismanaged, but I love this studio and this game so much. Undead Labs, what is going on? Mm-hmm. I haven't heard from you in a while. What's going on? So again, to me, the big...
Really quiet, yeah.
Super quiet. And all we keep seeing is more updates to 2. And I'm just like... All right, fam, but you showed a CGA trailer not that long. Like, what's going on with y'all? Like, that's where I'm at. Like, I got to be fair. Like, he's going to be judged on that regime. And then I will, give him his due the way we supposed to, or we be critical because we got to give it a smoke if it don't, whatever. But the ZeniMax thing, it needs to happen. It needs to happen. It's not like we going in there extra medley. It's just, hey, what's the submitted product? What are you guys finished and what's got going on? And I think, because remember, the Redfall thing exposed a very key point. Yeah, you could say that, that was Bethesda's fault. But at the end of the day, it's Xbox's fault. You see what I'm saying?
Something that they did not foresee, which is beyond all of us. I don't know how it never crossed anyone's mind, but go on.
No, so to me, that's the blessing in disguise. That's the silver. You had the snafu with Redfall. You now know that could never happen again because we will be on you. Never happening. A game launching in that state was unacceptable. And Phil, they saw, he saw he was visibly embarrassed by it. He was visibly upset about it, right? So I think that's where Matt steps in. And to JT's question, I think that does have somewhat of a factor there. And I don't think Bethesda does need a little bit of, let's just see the homework before you submit it. That's where are you at with it? Like, where are you at with the Booty situation, the reorg and all the names and Sarah, and what you think about all this?
I'm pretty positive on the Booty side of things. Yeah,
hey.
I do feel positive and optimistic about him overseeing Bethesda's content, is what I'll say. The reason I say that is I do think these dream partnerships that we've talked about for so long, beyond anything Fallout, by the way, like Halo making its way to id in some capacity, bringing the guy who's overseeing all those Xbox game studios and now having that direct funnel of communication just gives a little bit more control on the Xbox side of things to put these chess pieces into play, right? Now it's a lot more feasible that you could have Bethesda and Obsidian get together and talk about Fallout New Vegas 2 earnestly. Like, okay, hey, I'm Matt Booty, head of the game content here. Content I want that our data suggests people want, New Vegas 2. Hey, Todd. Hey, Fergus. Let's get on the phone and talk about it, right? Like, I'm overseeing both of you. Stuff like that, I think, is far more possible. One thing Bethesda already does with their own studios in-house is they share resources. So, like, one of the enemies you fight in Doom Eternal was created by Tango. And this goes for all of them. Like, there were teams that were helping all across the Bethesda family on Starfield to varying degrees. Like, what did Todd say Machine Games helped with? A lot of people said they helped with the shooting, but I think they helped with like motion blur, getting something right. Or maybe that was id. There were claims about something with one of the first person shooter studios helping Starfield out anyway. And like they do, like these teams all work together. It's not just Bethesda Game Studios ever. It's not just Machine Games ever. They all come together to assist one another when they get to that finish line. And so now you've got all the Xbox Game Studios. One thing I talked about at the top of the show with Gears of War is like Coalition keeps getting pulled away. That's the Unreal specialist. If there's any Unreal projects that Bethesda struggle with now you have Jamie connected right to Matt Booty, who hears that. He's like, all right, let's see what the teams are doing over here. Maybe you pull some of the Coalition over. So there's resource management there beyond the IP dreams that we have. So I think of it as a good thing. I do. The only concern I have is the same that's been echoed to everyone, which is like, how much more can Matt Booty take on?
Right.
Is he
Valid.
taking on too much, right?
Valid.
Like, you know, you got a lot of game studios there, and I'm hoping it's going to be someone else's job to manage the Activision side of things. So that's a whole other ball game there. On the Sarah side of things, I'm really happy she's getting the recognition. You know, that's what this move symbolized to me. Like, she not only earned it, but that people are starting to see like this woman matters. Like, she is a big driving force behind a lot of the things that we dig happening at Xbox. It's not just Phil. It's never been just Phil, and Phil would tell you that first. It's been this team, and this has kind of been the trio of Matt, Sarah, and Phil. And Sarah is a huge part of that. And I think part of the reason that Xbox is getting that relationship with Japan back on track is Sarah. 100%.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm very happy to see she's getting her dues. Like, I'm happy to see it's not just like, oh, Phil. As much as I like Phil, I'm happy that other members of the team are getting the credit that they deserve. And so that deserves to be a headline too.
Yeah. And 2 points. One, in reference to obviously what you said about Sarah, I completely agree. In reference to Phil now, what I'm hearing also as part of this restructuring, and this is from Jez, now for the first time, Phil has control of Xbox's marketing. This was something that was always, they didn't really have that full control. They didn't really have the hand on it. Now, as you can see, as a result, you see like domes in Las Vegas, and you know, you start to see the buzz that people always wanted to see from them as far as promotion. They still have a long way to go when it comes to the promotion of their games, I feel, but we're starting to now see them out there. And I think that's a good point. I do think the ABK thing, I think this also showed me like with restructuring, when you acquire, they still have to have, this was a result of being too much of the hands-off approach, right? When you had to, and you just didn't know what was going on. So I think this is a response to that. So my last prediction is probably with ABK. I think there will be a CEO of ABK. And to your point, you know, I do think they're probably going to have him report to Matt Booty. But to your point, what I would hope is that there are more people there or someone else to assist Matt with all of this as well. Not, you know, just Matt every single, that's a lot. That is a lot, right? So we got to see how they handle it, because that's, I think, a valid concern with the amount of studios that you have all reporting to one man, right? That's a lot, you know what I mean? So that's something to monitor.
Yeah, because I look at, to ease concerns, I'd look at the output in terms of quality for Xbox Game Studios. And you look at Redfall counts, right? I look at that, and I look at really Halo Infinite's launch state.
Yes.
I think those are the two big black eyes this generation. Otherwise, I think it's been pretty quality.
Yeah.
That comes off the top of my head. I think we had some Game Pass day one woes for sure that didn't deliver. But I think otherwise they've done a really good job this generation. It's just not been in the quantity we wanted. Right. And obviously like 2022 being the biggest stinging point of all of that. But when you look at like Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield, you look at Minecraft Legends,
Forza.
Grounded, Pentiment, Psychonauts 2, Forza Horizon 5, Forza Motorsports, Age of Empires 4. These are all at least 80 plus.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And so they do have those duds in Redfall, but that's why I trust Matt Booty. That's why I say I'm a little optimistic about it, because when, everyone wants to talk Metacritic scores, I'll talk Open Critic scores, talk about that reception. It has been strong across the board. The thing that Xbox is missing outside of Forza Horizon 5 is that critical darling, right? Is that 90 plus. And I think we're all looking at Hellblade 2 to be that answer.
Potentially, yes.
And I do worry if it doesn't hit that.
That's a good point.
Right. And so that's where I wonder if the stretching thin could be occurring, in that we're getting great games, but could we be getting amazing games?
I like that. That's a good point.
Not to base everything off Metacritic, Open Critic, but it's just something worth looking at there, because I've been enjoying most of Xbox's output. So
yeah,
I feel okay about that. It was great that you brought up the marketing stuff, though, because I did breeze over that, but that's a huge point. One thing that we've always said is missing, like, okay, you get a trailer for Starfield. Awesome. Why the hell are you talking Game Pass? Like, you want this, that's your future platform. Why are you talking that, like, also on Game Pass? It's like, no. Give us Game Pass trailers on a national level. Like, sell the service. I know there's a lot of approval. Like, hey, can we show your game in this trailer? Can we show your game? Use the first party family. It's probably easier to approve. But the fact that they're not launching national commercials during football season.
Facts.
For Game Pass as a whole, especially when you've got sports games, or it's October. It's the World Series right now. It's the World Series. And you have had MLB The Show day one in Game Pass.
Facts.
For how many years?
Good point.
Like, why are you not pounding away there?
Good point.
It's crazy to me, man. So
no, you're right.
I'm glad you brought it up, because hopefully I didn't know this, but hopefully this marks a shift in that philosophy of, like, maybe not just pushing a game and saying also on Game Pass, but there are so many people who don't know what Game Pass is. Like, you think more people would know what the ROG Ally is, but you got people stopping you on airlines going like, what is that gaming device?
Yes. Right? No, you're fire, bro. That's what it is. It's shocking to me that, like, we should be having, like, funny infomercial style. Hey, you know, and I saved all this money on Game Pass because like, we should be having foolishness, like commercial. Everywhere you go, you should be seeing this thing. People should always, it should be like the dollar menu, a 2 for $2 Big Macs. Like, you should be knowing what Game Pass is and the tremendous value that it's literally the best value in gaming. And to your point, they don't promote it as much as they should, but maybe it's because they were hamstrung before, and now that they're in position. So yeah, I'm expecting, them to go all out in reference to that. And look, I think this is overall good, but I agree with the key point you said. Quality. I'm going to be hard on them for quality now. Yeah. You know what I mean? Quality and no flubs. And communication, it has to be right between the studios to making sure, because I do want that critically acclaimed game. That's the next step. You're gonna have the consistency of what I call the avalanche, right? I think that's coming. They're gonna have good games, and it's good to come. But now let's just tighten it up even further, and now let's get that darling where you like, okay, we let that cook. We were on every aspect of development, and we gave that studio the best chance to succeed. And as a result, boom, 90 critic, Hellblade, 90. You know what I mean? Like, then it starts to go, oh, okay.
Hopefully Avowed falls in that camp. I think some people are selling that one short. What we saw was pre-alpha, and it looked really fucking good for pre-alpha. So that's one I'm holding out for too, to be a critical darling. I think there are more of those on the way. Although I'm not moving the goalposts. I do think people thought Starfield would be that, and while it's been a tremendous success, it is a shame that wasn't.
Yeah, it didn't have the Metacritic rating. Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else you want to talk about with this news, Cog?
No, just a big shift, man. And we will be monitoring, now, stuff, and then get ready. The other thing I do want to mention, I don't know if we had it on our notes today, is BlizzCon. That's a Microsoft show now.
Yes, we will. We're planning to have Jez on for that episode when, for reasons. Apparently things are happening there.
Apparently, allegedly.
No idea what, but things are happening. Idea. So we're not delaying our episode for it. It's a recommendation. Like, maybe not delay the episode for it, but like, let's have a conversation on what happens there, right? So the following BlizzCon, we'll have our episode. We'll talk about what's there with Jez So look forward to that. But yeah, you're gonna see. I'm not gonna talk.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk. Just stay tuned to the Dukes.
Yeah, we'll talk when it's there.
Yes.
All right. Number 2, Cog. Starting on November 12th, 2023, Microsoft will not be allowing unauthorized third-party accessories to be used with your Xbox. According to Windows Central sources, Microsoft plans to expand its program for approved third-party wireless Xbox controllers with some brands, such as Scuff, which have already confirmed that they're not going anywhere in a tweet online. Here is Microsoft's official statement on the matter. Quote, Microsoft and other licensed Xbox hardware partners' accessories are designed and manufactured with quality standards for performance, security, and safety. Unauthorized accessories can compromise the gaming experience on Xbox consoles like Xbox One, Series X and S. Players may receive a pop-up warning that their accessory is unauthorized. Eventually, the unauthorized accessory will be blocked from use to preserve the console gaming experience. For a full list of accessories that are supported on Xbox consoles, please visit the xbox.com/accessories link or support pages here and here, which are hyperlinked, and our designed for Xbox partner hardware program pages here, which we talked about, for example, the, oh my God, what is the name of the X screen? That's
yes,
there.
Yes.
So you can find that there. So third-party stuff does get verification, but Cog, this was a bit of a concern, especially for the fighting game community here. We have Switch Mitch Skates who writes in, greetings, Dukes. Microsoft is beginning to roll out a crackdown to unauthorized third-party accessories, which affects many people using Brook Wingman adapters to use arcade sticks on Xbox. I've purchased Street Fighter 6 and MK1 on Series X to support fighting games on Xbox, and I'm forced to choose between sorting through the very limited amount of officially licensed Xbox products or switching to PlayStation. What would you do in my position? And do you think we have any hope of a reversal from Microsoft? Thanks, and have a great day. Meanwhile, Mr. Hipshot, I want to read his write-in as well. Hey, Dukes. With Microsoft beginning to block unauthorized Xbox controllers and accessories to cut down on cheat devices, I hear cheers from the console FPS crowd. Apparently, it's rough out there. I don't know. Don't ask me. However, this can screw over many in the fighting game community. Those who rely on third-party adapters and converters to get their custom-built fight sticks to work on a particular console. This will eliminate Xbox as an option for them and kills any chance of growth in the fighting game community on Xbox. What do you think, Dukes? Will this get walked back a little, or is the group this affects just too small? Thanks for putting on a show each week, Mr. Hipshot. Thank you, Mr. Hipshot. Thank you, Switch Mitch Skates, for writing in. So yeah, this was the one that a little bit concerning for a lot of people. And so the FPS crowd seems a bit safe. You can avoid the. I used to have a modded controller during the World at War days where it was a switch you would flip, and bro, that SVT, suddenly it went from like pop, pop to like pop, 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 pop. Like you unloaded the whole clip, and it turned the Gewehr into like the best weapon in the game. It was a little scummy back then.
Scummy baddie back in the day.
Yeah, a little bit. Not proud of it, but I grew out of it, stopped using it. And you know what? You know why I ended up dropping it? It turned into a battle of ego. Did you ever have like trigger finger competition with your friends? Like who can? Yeah, okay. I'm glad it wasn't just me. Who could offload the clip the quickest, right?
Of course.
And that was where I stopped using my mod. I was like, no, I'm better than technology. Anyway, that type of stuff is out, Cog. What do you make of Xbox's strong move here, saying at least at the time of recording this, hey, in less than 2 weeks, your unauthorized third-party accessories are not allowed. Go buy other ones or check this page where they're supported.
Yeah, it's pretty aggressive. You get that error code, and then I guess that silent timer goes off for 2 weeks, and that joint is going to get disconnected. It's inoperable on the machine. I'm torn because as a person who really lives in, a lot of the competitive FPS scene and the fighting scene, I hate the scummy maddies of the world. From back in the day. Okay. Like, it really drives, because I'm like, there's certain plays where you get murked, you get fragged, or you get beat, and you look at and you're like, nah, ain't no way. Ain't no way that dude could do that in the realm of natural play. So I'll be tight, because I'm like, yo, I'm better. And then when I beat them, I'm like, yo, I'm better than you. You out here using this. You know what I mean? So I know what's going on. So there's a part of me that's like, yeah, it time's up for y'all dudes. Now you're going to have to see me for real. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. So from
not everyone had the blessing of maturation that I did, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So there's a part of me that from the competitive side, the purity side, loves it. But there is a gray area here. And I got to be fair because, like, you know, I think it was Switch Mitch, Shot. There's some devices that are just like fighting sticks, and they're not trying to offer you any competitive advantage. It's just something cool because I'm more of a controller guy, but I know guys that really like the fighting sticks, you know what I mean, kind of thing. They want that arcade-like experience. So, yeah, that part is going to be tough. And then from my understanding, that little logo, that little sticker, to get that from Microsoft, I mean, it's implied that it ain't cheap. You may have to come out of pocket. You may have to, and let's be honest, if you're like a smaller shop, a smaller company trying to develop your little third-party device, this ain't gonna be beneficial for you. You know, so you might not be able to get your joint out there. So what I'm hoping is that Microsoft listens to the community and either they work with those companies to help them through the certification process to get some of these things approved. Now, these companies are going to have to conform to whatever that standard that Microsoft wants to say, okay, this looks like there's no funny business here. You're approved. Yeah. Or at least work with them financially on certain things if they're on the up and up. But overall, I do think it's a good thing, but I do feel for people who use really specialized, cool devices that makes it fun or play well and it feels good versus a standard thing where you don't have a lot of options. I do understand that. So it's going to be up to Microsoft to communicate with these companies.
It's really the fighting game community, because I'm looking at the page that Microsoft provided. They have PowerA, which is a really good budget option. When my Xbox One controller broke and I knew I wasn't playing my Xbox One much at all outside of like Ori, I bought like a $20 PowerA, and like they're good. Hyperkin's good, right? And they did the 360 style controller for the Xbox Series consoles. 8-Bit Dough is good. Razer is good.
I like 8-Bit Dough.
They have Scuff here, as I talked about earlier. Thrustmaster. I used Thrustmaster around Halo for about a year. Those are fantastic. Control Freak, the thumbstick grips that they do, or the thumbstick extension for better aim. I use those religiously during when I played game battles a lot. Like, they're good here on the site. So they've covered the ground pretty well on like known, smaller, cheaper brands. Even like they have a brand I've never even heard of here, PDP Realms, and it's got like a very transparency. It's a Sonic controller. This thing's fucking wild, man. Yeah, it's crazy. You can literally see through the controller, and that's pretty cool. But anyway, they have a lot of other options here, third-party options here, cheaper options here that you can get your hands on. So I wouldn't worry too much about that side of things. It definitely is the fighting game community, and that is disappointing. And I hope they figure something out there, because that is already a really, really small percentage of your player base, because you have, next to JRPGs, you have not nurtured that at all. I think the last time you did was Killer Instinct at the start of the last gen.
Facts.
So yeah, they have not done a good job there. And to alienate them further, I mean, they're with PlayStation owning Evo, PlayStation already being the dominant fighting platform. Like, you've signed, like, your toes up in the coffin now, man. Like, just put the lid on. It's over. It's over. You're not gonna fight out of this one if you're not gonna fix this, right? Because there's the fighting game crowd, right? And they've already kind of made their choice for the most part, unless they're somewhere else, right? Maybe they bought an Xbox or something else, so they'll just play it here. But they've probably made their choice for PlayStation. And for the hardcore, they're not coming to you at all. So I just think for Xbox, good choice overall for fairness. I like the idea here, but definitely make sure you are not neutering the fighting game community at all, because it's already tiny enough, and
facts.
You don't need any more problems there.
Exactly. And I go off for FGC. So yeah, we got to show them love.
Absolutely. Number 3, last bit of news, and we'll talk about our Game Pass pick of the week. Coming soon to Xbox Game Pass. November 2nd, you get Played Up on consoles, as well as Thirsty Suitors on console, PC, and cloud. November 6th, you get Football Manager 2024, the biggest Sega IP, console, PC, and cloud. November 7th, you get RoboQuest 1.0 on console, PC, and cloud. November 9th, you get Dungeons 4 on console, PC, and cloud, as well as the man, the myth, the legend, your Yakuza protagonist, the one that actually secured a Game Pass bag, Like a Dragon Gaiden, will be there on Game Pass, console, PC, and cloud. And November 9th, you also get access to Wild Hearts via EA Play on PC, console, cloud. Then, November 13th, Spirit Tea comes to console, PC, and cloud, and Coral Island comes on November 14th to Xbox Series consoles and cloud. Meanwhile, leaving Xbox Game Pass, all of these are exiting on November 15th. Coffee Talk leaves console, PC, and cloud. Exapunks leaves PC. Ghost Song leaves console, PC, and cloud. Gungrave Gore leaves console, PC, and cloud. Football Manager 2023 is on the outs on console, PC, and cloud, and in with the new. Lapine is leaving console, PC, and cloud. And Townscaper is leaving console, PC, and cloud. All right, Cog, if you're making any downloads here, what would they be, sir?
Come on, man. I gotta give it up to your man. You know, I'm excited for the man who erased his name. I'm excited for Kiryu. I like I said, I played a little bit at PAX West. It was fun. It was fun. It graphically looked cool. He was in his little secret agent mode. I want to see what it is. And again, RGG is very strong to say, like, you need to play this to lead into Infinite Wealth. And Infinite Wealth is one of my most anticipated games because the true protagonist like
the dolphin rider, the island owner, the Segway rider. You're right, him.
The guy you gotta pay for, because some people you gotta try to help, and you gotta get them a free pass to get them the community to like them. But we know who people go spend that hard-earned cash for, the Ichiban Kasuga. You know what I mean? So I'm excited, and then together, we get the chance to work together. I want to know why your man got that weird haircut. That's literally what I'm here for. Why is his hair the way it is in Infinite Wealth? And I gotta know, because I do like the look in Eraser's name. I really do. I like the vibe. I like the energy, and I want to play that beat 'em up style. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. And I'm gonna be real with you. I've never played a Football Manager. I need to know why this game is so huge.
Yeah, I gotta check it out too. Because like Sega talks about, like, this is one of their main revenue drivers. Like, it's got a huge fan base. I got to see what's going on here.
Yeah, what is this? So I've never seen it, played it. I just need to know what it is, even if it's like an hour. So yeah, those are my choices.
Yeah, I'm very excited for Yakuza. This one I won't be playing yet, just because I'm sorry, I'm looking at screenshots of Football Manager. This game looks awesome.
Oh, really? I gotta check it.
Yeah, it like, you can see, it looks like it simulates the games based off the teams you build. They provide here, and like, just like little micromanaging.
Okay,
definitely looks high level stuff.
Yeah, definitely high level. This is for the hardcore. But like, there used to be games like this back in the day where what is it, like Coach Man? They were like an NFL coach manager game.
Yeah, all the sports. Someone wrote in and told us about an MLB one that I'm kind of interested in, because I at least know baseball a little better. But for me, it would be like a Dragon Gaiden. That one, I'm not going to be playing it right away, though, because I've got everything installed now. All right, so I went on Game Pass. I got Yakuza 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 0. So what I'm going to do, did my research. I'm going to do 3, 4, 5, because I already played Kiwami 1 and 2. I watched the recaps. I'm studied up. Kiwami 1 story, even watching the recap, I'm like, this story was so good. Kiwami 2, I was like, I also remembered, I was like, this one wasn't that great. Wasn't bad, but wasn't that great. They made Kiryu way too dumb. And so I'm going to play 3, 4, 5, 0, 6. And then a man who erased his name. And I want to do all of this by the end of January. Wow, I'm setting an ambitious goal, though. Wow, but I'm going to have 3 weeks off in December.
Yes.
I'm going to really just settle into Yakuza. I'm very excited for this. My goal is to this month at least have Yakuza 3 done, which I think is feasible. I'm going to take my time with them. If like one grabs my attention, I'm going to settle in with it. I do think for like 3 and 4, I'm probably going to just mainline it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I think 5, especially 6, I'm very, very interested in, because like, you see, like, I love Kiwami 1, right? And like, you get like Haruka is like this daughter figure to Kiryu, and then you see like she's all grown up in Song of Life, and I've only seen the box art, and I'm like, oh man, like, this is a crazy timeline development here. So I'm just keen to see how the relationship grows and what leads into the man who erased his name, like abandoning everything. So very excited to go through them all and absorb everything this series has provided, because they've invested so much in us. They're like, here, we're gonna put it all on Game Pass for you, whole series.
Yeah.
So let's see what it's all about, shall we? So I'll report in Probably starting within the next week or so because I'm finishing up a couple of projects for Retro Rebound
I was
and
about to say, yeah.
reviewing Star Ocean. Now,
Nice.
so very excited about that. So
Nice.
I will begin my Yakuza pilgrimage.
Ooh.
All
right. Retro Rebound in effect. Let's go.
Sir. And of course, I'm going to do a video on Retro Rebound about
it. I have to watch that. I'm dying to hear that.
Yeah. I'm probably going to avoid pissing people off and not talk about our man, Ivan Kazuya. All right. With that, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our Game Pass pick of the week. We have one right in, then Kago, kick it to you for your Game Pass pick of the week. So we got Don Otaku who writes, "What up, turn-based dukes? I have a Game Pass pick of the week for you guys. The game is War Tales and was stealth dropped into Game Pass today at the time of writing in, which was a couple days ago. It's also a day one release for Xbox. I've played this game on PC with controller and can vouch that this game is amazing. It's an open world, turn-based tactical RPG with permadeath. If that's not enough to get you hot and bothered, well, let me tell you that they executed this game so well. Oh man, get ready for this. The gameplay is somewhere between XCOM and Baldur's Gate. You have highly customizable builds for your characters and party with lots of companions to recruit. And there's some management and upkeep of the members as well. There are different modes for those who want to explore and find content as you see fit, and more streamlined mode that locks you to regions that until you're ready to progress for the ones who need a little more hand-holding. It's not really story-driven, so don't go in expecting a Baldur's Gate 3 level narrative with choices and consequence. However, the choice and consequence comes from the gameplay instead. I highly recommend this game, and it being on Game Pass is just a treat and another banger to add to your long, long backlog. Have a save scum to make sure my favorite character doesn't die kind of day."
Facts. Talk that turn-based, talk that permadeath. Like, now we gonna do that save over.
Yeah, that never happened, right? Just like, from like Men in Black with the like, hold up the... You're not gonna remember that. So that's War Tales.
Ooh, all right. Medieval, very lordly. I'm looking at this, Donald Tuck. You may have me here. And then 4-player cooperative?
Really? Hold up.
Traverse the vast open world of War Tales as a band up to 4 players, planning tactics and devising a strategy before confronting some of the many hostile inhabitants that roam the mysterious lands. As a team, share money, loot, resources, and end of the day with a delicious meal around a roaring campfire with your loyal companions, building camaraderie and forging unbreakable bonds that will help you overcome any obstacle.
Steam Deck compatible.
Steam Deck compatible. This feels very ROG Ally friendly. All right. You got my attention. I will start the download. All right, yeah, because I like the time period. This is very medieval.
I can see the XCOM vibes and the way the tiles are laid out and the movement and stuff. Very positive reviews on Steam, 18,367. So pretty good. Pretty good.
This dropped real low. I never heard of this show.
It came out, it says here on Steam, it came out April 12th, 2023. So I think it was out on PC and now it's coming to consoles.
Yeah.
So it's day one technically that way. As my understanding of it, but this looks really good.
Yeah, it looks good. I'll check it out the official site. Yeah.
Now, Cog, we have another day one Game Pass game to talk about. So why don't you hit us with it?
Yeah, man. So for me, I got to talk about Jusant. Here's a game that I remember when I saw it at the Direct, right? The Xbox showcase, and I was like, all right. First, I was like, oh, Don't Nod. I like Don't Nod. I'm going to see what they about. I'm a Life is Strange guy. I like a lot of their stuff. Very good storytelling. And I was looking at it, and I was like, all right, the boy's climbing. The boy has some little animal, whatever. So, all right, let me fire it up. Because I'm going to be honest, I wasn't going to, there was no incentive for me to stop any of the games I'm doing. It's not until, I think it was Jason Ronald and Rubenstein. One of the two.
I saw Rubes posted about it.
And they were like, yo, did it, loved it, oh my God, da-da-da. And then like 2 other people I know on my timeline that was really raving. And I'm like, all right, let me see for myself what's going on in here. So I'm not going to front at it. The first 20 minutes, I'm like, what is these dudes talking about? I was like, this little boy moved mad stiff. I was like, the graphics is not that impressive. It's kind of like a clay animation style kind of thing. And I'm like, oh yeah, this gonna be a quick uninstall after this hour. I'm gonna be real. That's where I was at with it. The first 5 hours of her, and then I was like, there's no narrative. What am I here? Why am I here? What is going on? Why am I just pointing towards a mountain and climbing? So then I start I will give this. The game is very, very excellent at telling you the controls, right? It's like, and some people are going to have some issues with the control. I personally find it very intuitive. So basically it's the triggers, right? So it'll be like right triggers the right hand, left triggers the left hand, right? And it feels like natural climbing, right? Then he has what I consider like the official rope climber's rope, so that you can't fall off the mountain. So basically, before you start the climb, you insert, I think it is the X button, and that's your point of reference into where you're about to go. Now, across the mountain, there's all the little holes for you to kind of grab and stuff. But then the game starts to get puzzle-like, and it starts to get creative. And the cool thing when it really starts to get fun is as you're doing these things, right? And this is like let me just paint the picture. This is like some sacred mountain. There's like people that lived in there. There's a civilization. There's all these different points of reference, and they're trying to tell a story through the atmosphere, right? But as you go, where it got fun is like, there was a part where now the game is like teaching you every single aspect of how to control the rope and how to do the climbing. But then there was a part where it's like, okay, now you can descend, and then you can swing and get this momentum, go to the other side. It's a beauty to it, bro.
Okay.
It is one of the all I'm doing is climbing for the most part in this game and finding new areas. And the little guy didn't even come into a period until I got to like the next chapter. But like, before I even got to him, on the base level, I'm like, yo, there's an addictive quality to this. I can't put my finger. Why do I like this? Like, I shouldn't like this. This should just be bare bones with a little artsy fartsy, kind of energy. Nothing crazy. But Maddie, I'm not gonna front. It really starts to pick up, and then the game starts to open up. And what happens is this little creature now, once you unlock him and he starts to interact with you, it gives you Planet of Lana energy, but more magical. Remember how Planet of Lana had the little guy named Mui, and he would help you get through certain parts. This guy, he has like this spiritual energy, and he can turn things to life. So now you're climbing, and then this little stump becomes a tree that now extends to get you to another area and unlock more stuff. And it starts to cook a little bit. They start to narratively show you things, that there's more here to this game from it's weird because it doesn't really have a story. Like, I don't know what's going on. I can't tell you one thing about what's going on with this game. All I can tell you, there is an addictive quality to it. And if you like puzzles, but nothing crazy, and the way they manipulate this rope and this climb, it's really well done. Are there some technical issues here and there? Yes. I saw some little rope acting a little weird once or twice. Control could be a little tighter on stuff. But look, I challenge somebody. Play it for the first 30 minutes. And you tell me if you ain't going to stop playing. I can't put my finger on it. There's no thing I can say.
Is it like a curiosity? Like, what is this all going to lead to? What's the point in all this?
That's one. But the core gameplay mechanics of this little boy moving around and the way they implement it and the way that the game design of it is well done. The core gameplay. And I'm a guy that loves story. So that tells me that the core gameplay, they've made climbing fun, interesting, and intriguing, which is weird because I've played climbing games before and none of that has ever. Oh, and then it has a little bit of, for people who might not like this, it has a little bit of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, where, the stamina, but they keep it, all right, but it's fair. And what they do that is better than Zelda, in my opinion, is when he gets there and it tells you like, yo, your stamina, you've been holding, you could just hold and stop moving. And then you get your stamina bar starts to go up a little bit. Okay. Now, it won't go up to the max level of that curve, that crescent that you started with, but at least you can get some back. So it's not like they just prevented you. You got to get some item to increase your stamina. It's none of that. So that part I thought was real cool. And I thought the puzzles are pretty creative. So give it a shot. I would say just give it a shot. See what you feel. Not saying it's ground. People are raving about it. Apparently, I've just scratched the surface from what people are telling me.
It reviewed really well.
And it's a short little joint. Short little joint, like 7 hours, I heard, like 7-8 hours tops. Short little joint.
Not bad.
But I'm in like chapter 2 or chapter 3. And yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's going to get finished because I was like, I like this.
Okay.
I just want to know where it's going. I want to know where it's going.
I'm curious to hear your final thoughts on this.
Absolutely.
I think that's part of like these games, right? Is like the journey and then what's the payoff at the end.
Right.
So
absolutely.
what's the message of the game?
I want to know what the message is. But yeah, early impressions, definitely worth a shot for a Game Pass pick.
There we go. Game Pass pick of the week, Jasant, and also a bonus rec from Don Otaku. You can check out War Tales.
War Tales. Thank you, brother. I've been check that out.
Final question of the episode comes from Jolie Rawlings. Good day, Fork and Spoon dudes. Regarding Stalker 2, is it going to be possible to give this game a legit score objectively considering the circumstances of its development? If it has game-breaking bugs or is suboptimal in any way, are review outlets going to grade it on a curve? Thanks, and have a full candy bar for the kid and a small mixer for the adult. Kind of Halloween day. Thank you, Joey, for writing in. So, Cog, this is I think a fair question to ask ahead of any potential release inbound for Stalker 2 is how this game will be scored, how it should be treated. I think the developers who have put a lot of time into it would want to be treated like any other game on the market. I think that's the respect you give them for the amount of time and energy and effort they poured into it. But do you think there's going to be a curve for a game that's been made in some of the toughest circumstances imaginable?
Yeah, this is an honest, great question. This is such a good question. I think it is. It will be graded on the curve on some level. Look, unless the game is technically broken, right? And there's just certain things that are just way too, big to overlook that affects the gameplay. I think if they have a solid experience that they're going to get praised. And again, I can't recall a game developed under these conditions. I remember that Xbox showcase and they showed, the really emotional settings of how they were developing this game. And, remember your man was suited up in uniform and had people with the studio kind of like just in almost like war-torn type conditions and pretty sad stuff. So I think collectively the gaming industry is pulling for them. Let's be honest. And rightfully so. But in fairness to objectivity, right, to Joey's question, I think it's a natural inclination to want them to succeed and not penalize them so hard because we know the conditions, the way this game was made. So that's what it is. I mean, look, there's going to be people who are going to just judge it on its merits, and as it should be, right? Fair or not. And there's going to be some people that will say that. So, I think this is a fair question because I've never seen a situation like this, and it's going to be curious if things are overlooked, right, so to speak. So what do you stand on this? What do you feel?
Yeah, I agree. I think some people are going to overlook it. I, as a reviewer, like out of respect for the developers, like I think they should get praise for getting it. I get the conditions and it's not like I'm not sympathetic to it, but I feel like giving them that special treatment, like you want them to feel like they've earned it, right? Like you don't want to like, oh, there's like a lot of bugs here, but like you did it, guys. And I just feel like you want them to feel like they've earnestly got the win, right? Like you didn't throw a meatball down the center of the plate. You gave them your best pitch and they still hit a home run. So like as a critic, I'm going to come at it the same I would any other game. Personally, I understand and respect why people would review it on a scale, but we also have to keep in mind, like this is supposed to come out, I think, April 2022. So, we're kind of approaching a 2-year delay. Understandably so, again. And I'm not saying that all that time was spent, they were working on it. Like they've had to keep probably moving studio locations, tinkering away. But they've had the choice to just continue to hold this until it's well and ready too, to be completely fair. And so when it does launch, like I'm extremely excited for it. I've been told constantly as a Fallout fan, like you've got to check out Stalker. And I know there's a quality measure for GCS Game World. Like I know that they'll deliver. So I'm not too concerned about that. I don't think anyone should go hard on them for like jank and stuff like that. That would be kind of stupid for me. But if people omit like game breaking glitches or like, yeah, like there's constant graphical issues happening, like pop in and shit, and they're not being called out.
Facts.
I think that's disingenuous to the team working on it because they want to make the best game they can. And if you're not going to give them the chance to take that feedback in as critics and then go and react to it, whether it be in a proper timeline or not, I think is the least you can do for them. Because, you know, many developers don't want to make bad games, and certainly they don't. So, you know, give them the honest feedback. Let them, if they miss on something, it sucks. But like, you know, you got to let them know because we are lucky to live in a day and age where you can make it better. So
yeah, well said.
That's how I'd approach it. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope they get an earnest, you know, high score and really knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
With that, Cog, that is it for episode 148 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. From Xbox's restructuring to third-party accessories being walled off, Bungie layoffs, and the like. It's been a pretty hot and cold week here in the world of gaming. And so, Cog, we now settle into a hashtag to round out this week's episode. Does anything immediately come to mind for you, sir?
Not that immediately. It's kind of all over the place with this one. You had, obviously, you had the restructuring, and we had the control situation. But I don't know. What do you think? What you going for? I'm kind of struggling with this one. We had to go with it.
It's a pretty whack one. DD restructure?
Yeah. Restructure.
You know, just a pretty generic thematic name, no cleverness to it. I think we can get away with that.
You can get that, or you want maybe like a reorg to kind of make it, or really like restructure better, you like the full DD restructure.
My content creator brain's wondering if people are going to hear that and like type in a wrong hashtag. I wonder if like, we know what restructure is. We hit like reorg. Are they going to hit it right?
Are they going to make it right?
Trust the audience. Let's see what they can do. They're smart. We'll do DD reorg. So if you got this far, let us know your thoughts using the hashtag DD reorg, REORG. There you go.
There we go.
Use that hashtag. I'm at G27status. Cog is at Lord Cognito. You tag us there. If you don't want to use social media, we get it. Go ahead into the comment section. Use the hashtag DD reorg. Let us know your thoughts on the episode. And with that, take decent care of yourselves. And we'll see you next time around for episode 149 of Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast. Peace out.
Defining Duke, an Xbox podcast, is a product and trademark of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC, and is recorded from the United States of America. The show is conceived by Matthew Mr. Matty Plays Schroeder and me, Colin Moriarty, and is written and produced by Matthew Schroeder. Matty's co-host is Barry Lord Cognito Eversley. Defining Duke's executive producer is Dustin Furman, and the show is edited by associate producer Ben Smith. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's shows, including Defining Duke, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer support level on Patreon, and we're thankful for your kindness and generosity.